You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Today in the Bronx, a brand new version of the house that Ruth built hosts a brand new football game. What's normally a field of dreams for the Yankees becomes gridiron as we welcome you to Capital One Bowl Week. It's the new era Pinstripe Bowl, and two teams that return to postseason football for the first time in a long time. Up the steps that normally you'll see Jeter, Teixeira, A-Rod, and Posada walk come the Syracuse Orange, led by Doug Marrone. On the opposite side of the field, Bill Snyder has the Kansas State Wildcats back in a bowl game for the first time since 2006. A place we normally watch the boys of summer do their work. Instead, this week, Old Man Winter. They wreaked havoc. About 2 feet of snow fell on most of the tri-state area, and the crew did an amazing job getting Yankee Stadium ready for football. And we welcome you here to the Bronx and Yankee Stadium. Bob Wischusen alongside Brian Greasy. Welcome to the Pinstripe Bowl. And it's a matchup that I know both fan bases have thirsted for, because for Syracuse and Kansas State, just to be back in a bowl game and playing postseason football really kind of puts a stamp on the season that Bill Snyder and Doug Marrone have been able to create for the two schools.
Well, you look back 2 years ago, both these programs in the depths of despair. And for Kansas State, over the last 6 years, they've lost almost twice as many games in Big 12 play as they have won. And for Bill Snyder to have his team back in a bowl game in his second year was huge. And on the flip side, they've been able to do it with the running game, a strong offensive line. Daniel Thomas, second in the Big 12 in rushing. That's been their formula. Special teams has been a plus as well. And on the flip side, you look at Syracuse and what Doug Marrone has been able to do. 2 years ago, they came out of the worst four-year stretch in program history. Doug Marrone comes in, picks everybody's heads up, and they start to play inspired football. And in his second year now, has him in a bowl game. And for them, it's been about defense. And they're the 5th-ranked defense in the country. And Scott Schaefer, their new defensive coordinator, has his hands full today trying to stop this potent rushing attack of the Kansas State Wildcats.
Well, it's really two teams, Brian, we expect to see a lot of running the football out of, right? I mean, when both offenses are at their best, they are going to their workhorse running backs.
They certainly are. Daniel Thomas is the workhorse for Kansas State, and DeLon Carter, along with Antoine Bailey for Syracuse. That is their bread and butter, the power running game and play action off of it. So it'll be an interesting day which defense can stop the opposing offense.
Syracuse won the toss. They deferred their option to the second half, and plenty of fans of the Orange have come down to watch this game in the Bronx. Although most of these folks aren't used to bundling up for a football game. You think of Syracuse, obviously, you think of some cold weather, but obviously they play in the Carrier Dome. So Syracuse playing outdoor football in really not nearly the frigid temperatures we had in the New York City area over the past couple of weeks, as the temperature with the sun out this afternoon did get up to about 40 degrees. It is a terrific scene. Yankee Stadium decked out for football for the first Pinstripe Bowl.
It really is great football weather. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. On Monday, it looked terrible, but today it looks great.
Ross Krautman kicking off. And it comes down the near sideline and bounces out of bounds. So certainly a mistake for Syracuse on special teams to start, as Carson Kaufman, the quarterback for Kansas State, will have terrific field position as the Wildcats will be set up at their own 40-yard line. Now, it is a two-headed monster at quarterback for Kansas State. We'll see Kaufman to start. We expect to see Colin Klein at one point as well. And both quarterbacks really bring a different skill set to the table.
Yeah, Kaufman is a little bit more of a throwing quarterback. He certainly can run the option and can use his feet on the perimeter for this Wildcat offense. But when Colin Klein comes in the game, they are going to run the Wildcat. They're going to run option. They're going to hand the ball to Daniel Thomas.
1st and 10 already in great field position to begin the game for Kansas State. And a little wide receiver screen to the far side to Hilburn. Down the sideline goes Adrian Hilburn, and he's close to a first down as we take a look at our impact players.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about Daniel Thomas, second in the Big 12 in rushing yards. He scored 16 touchdowns. That led the Big 12 this season. He's our workhorse, averages 23 carries a game this season. And on defense, the guy's trying to stop him, Doug Hogue, his second year. 2 years ago, he was a 4th-string tailback, now one of their best linebackers, and Darrell Smith, the vocal leader of this Syracuse defense.
Second down and about a foot for K-State right at midfield. And they go right up the middle and bouncing it free. There goes Daniel Thomas. inside the 20. Touchdown. We haven't even played 30 seconds just north of Broadway, and already a show put on by the Kansas State offense. Daniel Thomas with his 17th rushing touchdown of the season. Josh Cherry with the point after. He puts it through, and it's 7-0 K-State.
You've got to be gap sound on defense against this Kansas State offense. They're going to run power football. You're going to see it blocking down. Here is the guy that is responsible for contain on the outside. And when he's not able to get to contain there, let it roll, guys. You can see. Sorry about the telly. A little problem clearing it, but. Look from the bottom, you see the cutback from Daniel Thomas. He's strong enough. He gets to the second level, an experienced offensive line gets him to the second level. And if this Syracuse defense has been very successful stopping the run all season, they've got to be able to contain and have the right gaps from a secondary standpoint. The safeties and corners have got to be able to fill. Otherwise, Daniel Thomas will make you pay.
So 2 plays, 60 yards, 28 seconds was all it took. 17 rushing touchdowns now for Daniel Thomas. And Syracuse about to get the football. Prince Tyson Gully from inside the 15-yard line. And he gets out to about the 32, so that's where the Cuse will have their first offensive possession. And Eamon McEnany, the third member of our broadcast crew, is down on the field.
Well, Bob, thanks a lot. And as we all know, college coaches love to control their practice schedule, but that went out the window for both coaches this week once the snow hit the New York City area. For Syracuse, earlier this week, 30 players were stuck all across the United States trying to get into New York. They eventually had to fly to Pittsburgh and then take a bus. And for Kansas State, they had practices canceled up at Columbia. They had to hold a walkthrough through their hotel. Obviously, it didn't slow down the Kansas State running game, Bob.
Well, slowed down DeLon Carter on his first attempt as he slips and falls. So Ryan Nassib already in 2nd down and 10. 16 touchdowns against 8 interceptions for the junior from Westchester, Pennsylvania. The development continuing. Brian Griese for Ryan Nassib this season. Last year, he basically backed up Greg Paulus for most of the year. There were still a few packages that they ran for him, but this was his first year as a starter.
Yeah, really his first year. Been a little bit inconsistent. They've relied on the running game in Carter. Today, he has to hit some big plays, play action downfield if they're going to move the ball on offense.
He's now changing the play just as Antoine Bailey was set to go in motion. Play clock down to 7. Play action for Nassib. Wants to set up the screen. Gets it to the sideline, and the fullback, Adam Harris. And he picked up a handful. It'll be 3rd down and about 6 as we check our impact play.
We saw DeLon Carter get an early carry. He's going to get a lot of carries today. He's back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He's creeping up the list in Syracuse career rushing. He'll be in 3rd place with 58 yards today. And his backup, Antoine Bailey, and Mr. Versatility. He's the 2nd leading receiver as a halfback on this team. And Ty Zimmerman on defense for Kansas State, the true freshman. He's the first in school history to get all conference honors as a safety.
3rd down and 6. Bailey now the lone setback. Nassib trying to buy some time. Scrambles up the sideline, lowers his shoulder, and gets bumped out of bounds about 2 yards shy of the 1st down. Forced out by Alex Rebeck.
And the footing on this field is really bad right now. You see guys slipping, receivers slipping all over the place. His primary receiver there, Nick Provo, fell down on the play, and Nassib just had to try to make a play. Got to the sideline and lowered his shoulders against 3 Kansas State defenders. That's a tough way to make a living.
So Ryan Lichtenstein on to punt for Syracuse. Tyson Hartman back deep to receive. Wobbly kick. Hartman stumbled a bit, fields it at the 30. And Hartman picks up a block. Tyson Hartman with only the punter to beat. with a flag down back at midfield. Hartman's in the end zone. It looks like this is coming back, though. A penalty thrown all the way back at the Kansas State 38-yard line. Well, all this being said, Brian Griese, in spite of the fact that there is a flag down and this is coming back, to give up a 51-yard touchdown run on the opening possession for Doug Marrone and then see his special teams go out and get creased for a 61-yarder. It's not the way he was looking to start his homecoming to the Bronx.
Fouls on the play. First, we have a hold. That penalty's declined. Number 45. We have a block in the back on the receiving team. Number 45, the prior penalty was on number 89. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the flag results in a first down.
All right, so Kansas State will have the football, but they'll be backed up inside their own 30. It would have been a 61-yard touchdown had it not been for that block in the back right there. Kansas State still up by a touchdown.
$15.99 doesn't get you much at other restaurants. But at Dave & Buster's, $15.99 gets you the Eat and Play combo. Get a $10 game card and your choice of 8 delicious entrees. Why just eat when you can eat and play at Dave & Buster's?
Hey, everyone's eating tacos outside Bill's office. Don't you think that's some information I would like to know? I like tacos. You invited Eric? I thought Eric gave you the creeps. Oh. Yeah. Hey.
Don't be left behind. Get it first with AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network, period. Rethink possible.
Let's throw down some style. Style that lasts a lifetime. What do you say we get the look we want, the softness we need, and an unbeatable lifetime stain warranty for whatever life throws at it? Then, let's save big on the installation. We're lowering the cost of going barefoot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get exclusive Martha Stewart Living and Platinum Plus installed in your whole house for only $37.
With DirecTV, you can start watching in one room, pause, and continue watching in any other room. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV.
Welcome to the first annual New Era Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium. I'm Chris Cook, CEO of New Era Cap. For 90 years, it's been an honor to have our headwear and apparel worn by the greatest athletes, the finest entertainers, and some of the most influential people in the world. We are proud to be here today to cheer on Syracuse and Kansas State, two schools that share a passion and love for the game of football. So sit back, enjoy the game, and as we say at New Era, fly your own flag. On behalf of everyone at New Era, I wish you a safe and happy New Year.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. A great winter day here in the Bronx. Happy holidays, everyone, from all of us at ESPN. The New Era Pinstripe Bowl for the first time. And Kansas State, offensively for the second time. They'll run Wildcat, direct snap to Daniel Thomas. And this time, not much there. Better job by the Syracuse defensive front to stop Daniel Thomas, who had a big part in what this season was a resurgence of Kansas State football. 5-1 start for the Wildcats this year. They lost 4 of their last 6 games, but lost to terrific competition. Played Nebraska, Missouri, and Oklahoma State when both were ranked 20th in the country. Their first winning season since 2006, and Brian, it's probably not an accident that comes with Bill Snyder back at the helm as the head coach.
Well, and the defense is really what struck them at the end there. They gave up 35 points a game in those 4 losses.
Carson Kaufman slings one to the sideline to Chris Harper, and it looks like he's got a first down. Actually, they'll mark him out of bounds a couple of yards shy, right at the 35-yard line.
You're going to see a little bit of mix-up here offensively from Kansas State. First down, you see the Wildcat with Daniel Thomas. They love getting that in early in the game because Daniel Thomas is really the workhorse. They've got to get him on a rhythm. And then Carson Kaufman, throw bubble screens, throw quick on the outside, hitches. They see a lot of 8-man fronts with Thomas in the backfield, so they've got to be able to take what they give him on the perimeter with Kaufman.
Play action for Kaufman on 3rd down. And that pass almost intercepted. Threw it underneath, right through the hands of Doug Hogue, who had a chance at a pick for Syracuse. So Syracuse forces a 3-and-out.
Well, you're going to see blitz inside. 2 guys come inside, and Hogue is just reading the eyes of Kaufman, who telegraphed that throw. Very dangerous. That should have been intercepted by Doug Hogue. And Kaufman throughout the season has been very inconsistent and has telegraphed a lot of throws against a zone blitzing defense like Syracuse. You cannot do that. Otherwise, these linebackers are going to read eyes and make plays.
Mike Holmes to return the punt. They'll call for a fair catch and field it on the dead run and go down sliding at about the 32-yard line. So Syracuse will have the football after a 35-yard punt. Kansas State has the 7-0 lead. The New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Back in the Bronx in a moment.
Look at all the Toyotas for sale. Let's go with...
I'm selling my Toyota RAV4.
Do you know anything at all about the Escape?
It's a nice light blue color, much like my eyes.
My goodness, it's true. The mileage is extraordinary, 28 miles per gallon on the highway. It's a voice-activated sync system.
All around, it's better than my Toyota.
It's the final days of the Ford year-end celebration. Now, lease an Escape for just $179 a month for 27 months.
Is it wrong to drive a Toyota to Ford's year-end celebration?
Not if you leave it behind.
Plain beer me.
Sure. More taste or less taste?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. When you change your mind and your clothes, come back and I'll give you Miller Lite.
What's wrong with my dragons?
They're scaring the customers.
You're scaring the customers.
Man up and choose a light beer with more taste. Grab a triple hops brewed Miller Lite with that great Pilsner taste.
Got a Miller Lite.
Sir, you left your jacket.
That's not mine.
With the Venture Card from Capital One, we get double miles on every purchase, so we earned a trip to Vegas twice as fast. And since double miles add up fast, we can bring the whole gang. Is Caesar home? We get double miles every time we use our card, no matter what we're buying.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's hard to beat double miles.
If anyone objects, let them speak now, forever hold their...
Get the Venture Card from Capital One, Money Magazine's best rewards card if you aim to rack up airline miles.
What's in your wallet? Cannonball!
Hey, boss, do we have Aflac?
Nah, we have something else.
But if you're hurt and miss work, does it pay cash like Aflac does?
Nah.
Or let you spend it any way you want, like for gas and groceries?
Nah.
Or help with everyday bills like Aflac does?
Nah.
There's Aflac and there's everything else. Visit Aflac.com for an agent or quote.
ESPN College Football, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, is brought to you by New Era. Fly your own flag. Visit us at neweracap.com. And the Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet?
Coach Snyder and Coach Marone, a New York City tradition, ringing the bell at the New York Stock Exchange earlier this week. And hopefully they'll bring us all better luck.
Yeah, they did. The stock market went up.
Exactly.
I should do that every day.
As the calendar turns to 2011, it'd be better for all of us than at times 2010 was. Happy New Year, everyone. The New Era Pinstripe Bowl here at Yankee Stadium. Back to the offense. Goes Syracuse. To the ground along Carter. A gain of about 5. Tyson Hartman took him out of bounds. Now Syracuse similarly bouncing back to 7-5 this season. They also started 4-1, also struggled, but got great road wins in the Big East. And Brian Greasy, a game you and I did, we saw them upset West Virginia when West Virginia was 20th in the BCS midway through the year. 5th overall in FBS in total yards per game allowed. It's a defense that didn't rank in the top 100 in points against, yards against, and against the run when Doug Marrone took over. Carter, a little cutback, and he's close to a first down, brought down about a yard shy.
And certainly defense has been part of the resurgence of the Syracuse program, but this offense has got to do something to get points on the board. In Big East play this year, they're only averaging 15 points a game. You can't win a whole lot of games with that kind of offense, and it's been the lack of big play. Doug Marrone has talked about they've had over 788 plays without a 50-plus yard game.
Third down and 1, burrowing for a first down. It looks like DeLon Carter got there. So Syracuse will move the chains.
And I think the recipe for them today is they've got to be able to throw the ball on first down off of play action. Ryan Nassib, they've tried to get the ball down the field in the latter part of the season, and he just hasn't been accurate. They've had receivers open. They've got speed at the wide receiver position in Van Chu, number 82, and Nassib has just missed him downfield. And if they're going to score, and they need to score to stay in this game because Kansas State averages 33 points a game, they've got to be able to throw the ball on first down the field.
They bring the chains out to make it official. All they needed to do was look at our yellow line. That's a first down. Why even measure? Alongside Brian Greasy, I'm Bob Wischusen. Eamon McEnany down on the sidelines as well, watching Doug Marrone come home to the Bronx. He grew up about 10 blocks from the old Yankee Stadium, and of course, here in the new Yankee Stadium right next door. Back where he grew up, and he's got Syracuse back in the postseason, and he's got DeLon Carter bouncing it up the middle for about 5 more. Now just a mile and a half or so away from Yankee Stadium here in the Bronx, this is the high school that Doug Marrone called home, Herbert Lehman High. His grandfather on his mom's side was an usher at Yankee Stadium for 20 years. And Doug Marrone was asked, what's it like to come back to Yankee Stadium and bring Syracuse into your own backyard? He said he did a press conference here at the stadium. Afterwards, he walked out on the field. Someone asked him, how do you feel? He said, I feel like I'm 10 years old. But after that, he had to put those feelings aside and realize this is all business. This is a business trip for his program as Nassib rolls right. Wide open in the right flat is the tight end, Nick Provo. And he hurdles for a first down.
Kansas State almost predominantly plays a 4-deep coverage, which allows tight ends to get open in the flat. And right here on the naked, Provo with the down block and releases into the flat, wide open for Ryan Nassib, and a big gain on second down. Again, these kind of play action passes allow this Syracuse offense to stay on schedule.
In plus territory now, the Orange for the first time. Play clock down to 4. Nassib to the right. That's knocked down at the line. Roselle Brown came through and batted down that pass, and he almost did the splits. That field is a skating rink right now. With the weather we've had, with the temperatures we've had, watch the feet go out from under Roselle Brown as he knocks this pass down.
I was down on the field before the game, and just about 3/4 of the field is okay. But when you get on this side of the 50-yard line, it starts to get worse. The field is frozen, and guys that have cleats on are going to slip. The ones that kept the molded bottoms on will do better.
Little pump fake and a handoff to Carter. Good run by DeLon Carter again. Down close to the 35-yard line, about a yard and a half shy of a first down. Stopped by Stephen Harrison, former walk-on, who now starts at corner for Kansas State.
If you can throw an incomplete pass on first down and on second down, hand it off to DeLon Carter and get 8 yards, you're in good shape. But the most impressive thing about Carter, he's now had 220 carries without a fumble. He just does not put the ball on the ground, and that's invaluable.
Third down and 2, and Carter picks up the first down. Pushing and shoving after the whistle as well, but DeLon Carter got inside the 35 down to the 34-yard line and moves the chains. Ty Zimmerman came up to make the stop for Kansas State.
When Carter came into this game, he was only 58 yards behind one of the greats, all-time great running backs in Syracuse history, Larry Zonka, for third all-time in career rushing yards, and he's got a great start today to passing.
Nassib looks for the slant, incomplete. Dorian Graham, the intended receiver, was looking for a flag. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Nassib saw a single high safety on 1st down. Doug Marrone choosing to go with a run-pass check. What the quarterback needs to do is check the safeties. If you get one high, you want to throw the football because you've got opportunities on the outside. If you get two safeties, you want to run the football because you got numbers on the inside. He made the appropriate check. Good defense from the corner on the outside prevented a throw.
Antoine Bailey in the game as the lone setback. And he gets popped right about the 33-yard line. There to make the stop was Ray Kibble. So it will be 3rd down and about 8 for Syracuse. The 11th play of this drive coming up as we approach 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. Kansas State got on the board on the 2nd play from scrimmage in the game. 17th rushing touchdown of the season for Daniel Thomas. Two teams have exchanged punts since then, and this is Syracuse's first significant march. Empty backfield on 3rd down and a long 8 close to 9. Nassib steps up, buys time, fires low, and it's scooped up, but that was trapped at about the 20-yard line by Provo. So now a decision to make for Syracuse. 4th down and long. 4th down and 9, but they are inside the 35-yard line on a field where I can't imagine you're going to have realistic long field goal tries.
No, I don't think you're going to have that opportunity, but that was a missed opportunity for the Syracuse offense. Nassib had Provo wide open and plenty of time. Great protection up front by this offensive line and just threw the ball in the dirt.
So again, an empty backfield on 4th down. The field is so slippery, especially at this end, that going for a field goal here is kind of a moot point. So Syracuse goes for it. Nassib with a blitz coming off the edge. Tries to buy some time and can't. Goes down at the 40-yard line. The corner blitz got him. Emmanuel Lemur came free. And Kansas State takes over at their own 40-yard line in a moment.
Lemur just comes right off the edge, unaccounted for, nowhere for Nassib to go, and a big stop.
The 2011 Under Armour High School All-America game, Wednesday at 7 on ESPN.
From Pelham Bay to the same place the Yanks play. City Island or Marina Del Rey. 2 train, 4 train, headed uptown. 5 train, 6 train, yeah, we Bronx bound. Shop on Fordham, jog to Van Cortlandt. Around the reservoir, check the repertoire. BX the borough, do it so thorough. Go hard or go home, never play subtle. We put a stamp, and so we are the champs. That means first place, hip-hop birthplace. P-Ville, never ran, never will. I'm from the Bronx, so I'm repping for my mom.
New Year's Day, ESPN brings you 3 SEC Big Ten Bowl battles airing simultaneously across networks. At 1 on ABC, Urban Meyer makes his Florida coaching finale against Joe Pa's Nittany Lions in the Outback Bowl. At 1 on ESPN and ESPN3.com, Alabama and Michigan State battle in the Capital One Bowl. And at 1:30 on ESPN2 and ESPN3.com, it's Mississippi State, Michigan in the Progressive Gator Bowl.
At American Signature Furniture this New Year's Day, we're having our biggest sale ever. Friday and Saturday for only 19 hours, we're marking down prices up to 70% savings throughout the store. Save on hundreds of living rooms like these sofa love seat combinations. Others have sold them for over $2,000. Right now, take your choice for just $6.99. And for 19 hours, we'll even include a free chair. That's all 3 pieces for just $6.99. Hurry in while they last. Plus, buy now and pay no interest for 12 months with no down payment. Don't miss the biggest New Year's Day sale ever at American Signature Furniture.
A lower price on a brand new Mazda is right around the corner at Duval Mazda. Right now, during Duval Mazda's year-end Mazda move-out, brand new 2011 Mazda 3i Sports, only $14,990. Plus 0% financing is available. Hurry to Duval Mazda of the Avenues and test drive a Mazda today.
2. That's 1-800-841-4062. Call now.
Welcome back to Capital One Bowl Week. It's the inaugural New Era Pinstripe Bowl here at Yankee Stadium. Kansas State and Syracuse meeting for the third time in the series history, and all 3 times they have previously met. Been in bowl games. Neil Thomas right up the middle. And let's go back to the 4th down stop a moment ago by Kansas State.
Yeah, you look at the safeties are the keys to the blitz. You see where these safeties are lined up. One is deep, one's up. That tips off where the blitz is going to come from. And as a quarterback, you've got to be able to see where it's coming from and redirect your offensive line. He doesn't get the line redirected, and he's free off of the edge. But as a quarterback, you've got to be able to tell where the blitz is coming from based on the depth of those safeties.
Kaufman looking over to the sideline. Might be changing the play with the play clock down to 3. Stretch play left to Thomas. He picked up a yard, maybe a yard and a half. It'll be 3rd down and 4 for a tailback this year that went over 100 yards 7 times. 9th in the country in rushing. He's now over 1,500 yards on the year. A couple of games he went over 200 yards. He accounts for 40% of their plays. They ran 308 plays during the regular season, or rather 768 plays during the regular season. And out of those 768, Daniel Thomas touched the ball 308 times. On a rollout, slipping and falling, Chris Harper couldn't hold on to a pass that was thrown slightly behind him.
Oh, they had what they wanted. They rolled out for protection reasons. Harper runs the quick out on the outside. He's open by 3 yards, and Kaufman just threw the ball a little bit behind him. Harper probably could have caught that ball, but if that ball's out on the sideline where it should be, it's an easy completion and a 1st down.
Ryan Dorr will punt it away. Mike Holmes is back deep to receive for Syracuse. End over end kick. Holmes calls for a fair catch and fields at about the 24-yard line. Well, a couple of days away from New Year's Day, and on New Year's Day there will be football galore. Here's the New Year's Day bowl schedule for you. It begins with Northwestern and Texas Tech. The Outback Bowl at 1 o'clock on ABC will have Florida and Penn State. In the Capital One Bowl, Alabama and Michigan State. That's a terrific matchup. Progressive Gator Bowl will then have Michigan back at a bowl game taking on Mississippi State. The Rose Bowl presented by Vizio. 2 top 5 teams, Wisconsin and TCU, and then UConn and Oklahoma cap it in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Breaking free is Carter. DeLon Carter dragging tacklers, still on his feet, all the way out to about the 48-yard line. He took Tyson Hartman for a ride.
This Kansas State defense has been horrific against the run. They're 118th out of 120 teams in football, and they have just struggled at stopping powerful teams. And this Syracuse team certainly will come in and test them up the middle. They've had a lot of injuries. They've got one of the smallest linebackers that I've ever seen in college football. Number 27, David Garrett, is only 5'8", 176 pounds. He'll certainly get a few looks today in the running game.
Antoine Bailey, flea flicker, back to Nassib, looks for the home run to Marcus Sales. Touchdown!
These are the plays that Syracuse offensively has been unable to hit this season towards the latter stretch of the year. And the timing of that call was perfect. After 2 tough runs by DeLon Carter, you come back with the flea flicker and an accurate throw. Touchdown.
Ross Krautman able to tack on the extra point. The flea flicker pulled out by Doug Marone and the passing game coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, and it works perfectly.
Watch the safeties come up. Sales is just going to run right up the middle of the field. Antoine Bailey sells the run, pitches it back, and then this is all the throw from Ryan Nassib. to get that ball down the field in stride to Marcus Sales. And watch Bailey come back off and get a block off the edge. That's a great play by Antoine Bailey and a perfect throw to get Syracuse back in this football game.
Only the second touchdown catch of the year for Marcus Sales, the 17th touchdown pass for Ryan Nassib. Talking to Doug Marrone this past week, we said, for your school, where is this program at? Basically, he said, we've got the defense fixed. Now we feel like we have to move to the offensive side of the ball because we just don't make explosion plays. We need to somehow create ways to get yardage and scores in chunks. Well, the flea flicker there couldn't have worked out any better for Syracuse.
Yeah, they have been so pedestrian on offense the last month of the season, and Ryan Nassib only averaged 5.5 yards an attempt throwing the football. They just have not been able to be successful throwing it down the field, but that's a great start for them in this game.
Short kickoff comes down to Aubrey Quarles at about the 15-yard line. And Quarles with a pretty good return all the way out to the 37-yard line. And let's go down to Amon.
Well, Bob, after that touchdown, this was obviously a very excited Syracuse sideline, but Doug Marrone went out of his way and went all the way over to the offensive linemen and congratulated all of them for the time they gave them on that flea flicker. He was very fired up for the way his offensive line played on that series, Bob.
Well, Eamon, that's Doug Marrone certainly going back to his roots. He was an offensive lineman, not only in college at Syracuse, and he's the first Syracuse guy to go back and be the head coach at the Q since 1947. But he not only played offensive line at Syracuse, but also in the NFL for a handful of years as well. So nobody knows better what the offensive lineman can get done than Doug Marrone. Thomas, and now all of a sudden, a little more pep in the step of that Syracuse defense after they watched the offense score with the flea flicker. They come up and stuff Thomas. Anthony Perkins there to make the stop. And Brian Griese, look at the statistical change from the time that Scott Schaefer took over.
I mean, when you look, Scott Schaefer brought an aggressive style, total defense 2 years ago. They were one of the worst teams in the league scoring. Probably the most important stat there. Now 13th, allowing only 18 points a game. And make no mistake, that is the reason why Doug Marrone and this Syracuse team is in a bowl game this year. This defense has been outstanding.
Slinging it to the near sideline is Kaufman. And he finds Adrian Hilburn about 4 yards shy of a first down.
But I think the real difference is they've employed basically an NFL-style defense. They've got zone blitzes. They've got man blitzes. They're going to confuse quarterbacks. They wreaked havoc in the Big East on quarterbacks. And what it does is these guys don't know who to block. They can line up in a 4-3, switch to a 3-4. Guys are running around. Again, you see them here. They're all over the place. Very hard for college offenses to diagnose what's going on.
Third down and 4. They bring a 5-man rush. That ball underthrown. And a flag thrown late from the secondary. Doug Marrone can't believe it. He was about 4 yards out on the field ready to congratulate his defense when he saw the flag hit the ground. That flag came out after the Syracuse defense was already celebrating the stop.
Holding on the defense against an eligible receiver on a pass beyond the line of scrimmage results in a 10-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Kansas State just tried to run a quick out to get a cheap first down. And Mike Holmes right here, take a look at him. See if he gets a hand on the wide receiver and does not allow him to get off. Well, maybe they called it on the outside on Shamarko Thomas, number 21, because I didn't see anything with respect to Holmes. They may have called it on Thomas on the outside.
So a free first down for Kansas State. Now in plus territory at the Syracuse 47. They run the option. Nowhere to go for Kaufman. Kaufman is known more as the passing running back. Colin Klein, who we expect to see at some point for Kansas State, averaged just under 50 yards rushing per game. So when they have him in the game, it seems like the run game is far more the priority. And that time, Kaufman lost 4 yards.
You know, Bob, I think the footing in this game benefits Syracuse more than Kansas State. Kansas State is more of a perimeter run team, and it's hard for these linemen to block on the perimeter as opposed to just running the ball straight downhill. That's what Syracuse likes to do.
Kaufman well protected. Down the sideline, a jump ball, it's out of bounds. He was trying to connect with Chris Harper, but Harper was blanketed by Merkerson. Here in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, the inaugural game for this bowl. Kansas State and Syracuse back in a bowl game for Kansas State for the first time since 2006, and for Syracuse for the first time since 2004. Bob Wischusen and Brian Greasy with Eamon McEnany down on the sideline. A pair of 7-5 teams as Big 12 meets Big East. Syracuse hit the big play a moment ago. A flea flicker to tie the game at 7 now to the last minute of the first quarter. Third down and long. Kaufman underneath, right at the first down marker. The catch made by Chris Harper, and he's got the first down.
That's a big play from Carson Kaufman. That's a confidence builder in the pocket. They decide not to blitz him. He's able to see the lane very clearly, and Harper comes right back to the quarterback. That's what you want to see from a wide receiver. No doubt about where he's going. The ball right on his face mask, and he gets the first down by a yard.
And off to Daniel Thomas. And Thomas does his best DeLon Carter impersonation as he picks up about 7 yards on first down. Mikhail Marinovich brought him down.
And I think Kansas State realizes now because of the field, we've got to run the power downhill. We can't run the option necessarily. We can't run zone read on the outside because the footing is too bad. We're going to run the ball straight downhill, come off the ball with our senior offensive line and see how many yards we can get.
And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. So a very entertaining start to the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Kansas State and Syracuse tied at 7 here at Yankee Stadium.
A lot of people selling their cars. Smart ones are going to Ford's year-end celebration.
I need a bigger car. Oh my gosh.
Ford Edge, best in class, V6 fuel economy.
I can't believe it.
This is the My Touch. It'll take 10,000 different voice commands. You touch, you go. It's that simple.
I love this car.
Look how happy she is.
It's the final days of the Ford year-end celebration. Now lease an Edge for just $229 a month for 27 months.
Sarah is trying to contain her excitement. Sarah is failing.
I'm going to take a quick dip.
Okay.
Keep your head in the game with NFL Mobile and never miss a touchdown with NFL Red Zone every Sunday afternoon.
You're picturing me as Adrian Peterson again, aren't you?
Don't be silly, Adrian Peterson.
Stay focused. Get NFL Mobile, only on Verizon.
Meet me by the sea again. Past the point the shoreline bends, where the sand is soft and warm and hangs upon your golden arm, and time won't move at all.
It was 1975. My professor at Berkeley asked me if I wanted to change the world. I said, sure. Well, let's grow some algae. And that's what started it. ExxonMobil and synthetic genomics have built a new facility to identify the most productive strains of algae. Algae are amazing little critters. They secrete oil, which we could turn into biofuels. They also absorb CO2. We're hoping to supplement the fuels that we use in our vehicles, and to do this at a large enough scale to someday help meet the world's energy demands.
$100 for a pair of jeans? Give me a break. I wear Lee Premium Select because they fit, they're comfortable, and they cost less than $50. And according to studies, I've been told they make my butt look good. Researcher.
Getting comfortable never looked so good.
Your favorite food's fighting you? Fight back fast with Tums. Calcium-rich Tums goes to work in seconds. Nothing works faster.
Tums.
The Tostitos BCS National Championship game, January 10th on ESPN.
Football in the Bronx as we start the second quarter of the New Era Pinstripe Bowl here at Yankee Stadium. And Kansas State on a march, trying to take the lead back from Syracuse. Trap handoff up the middle to Braden Wilson, the fullback, and that looks to be good for a first down inside the 25-yard line. If Kansas State can find their way into the red zone, nobody's been better than the Wildcats this year once they've gotten inside the opponent's 20-yard line.
Yeah, they have been outstanding. The big reason why is because they are able to run the football effectively. And you see 35 times they've scored touchdowns out of 43 trips. Number one in college football. They have made a lot of hay in the red zone this year.
And off to Thomas. And he's still about 3 yards shy of the red zone as Bud Tribby tripped him up after a gain of a couple.
It's a big reason why they're scoring so many points. They're scoring 33 points per game this year, but they're only the 62nd ranked offense in total offense in the country. And so really it's been very successful for them in the red zone and kept them in a lot of games and won a lot of games for them this year.
And they've got their running quarterback in the game for the first time now in Colin Klein. They can run the belly option. Klein on a keeper as he faked to Daniel Thomas, goes up the middle for a couple of more yards. Klein's only a sophomore from Loveland, Colorado, but again, outside of Daniel Thomas, he might have been the second most effective rushing threat they had this year, averaging about 48 yards per game, 6 touchdowns on the ground. As a timeout is called. So when Klein is in the game, it's a completely different type of offensive attack for Kansas State. And the Wildcats will call a timeout before 3rd down and 6. We'll step aside.
We bring her in or we bring her down.
I'm innocent! You got me.
Now on unrated Blu-ray and DVD.
Excuse me. Your change.
It's nice to know you can trust people. State Farm is counting on it. They want you to talk to your neighbors, then call a State Farm agent, find out how you can get discounts up to 40%. See, State Farm insures 40 million drivers. That's more than Geico and Progressive combined. 40 million drivers, more savings, and discounts up to 40%. So call an agent at 1-800-STATE-FARM or go online.
If there's any way I can get a few extra dollars, for me it really does matter.
H&R Block is next to the Nickel Diner in LA offering second looks.
I did my own taxes, and that's probably why I didn't get no money back.
If you take another peek, you never know what you can get.
We want to get back every dime due. Tonight, we reveal the results.
300!
$431.
2001!
Our home was an older home. It was a nice home in need of minor repairs.
And we found a new home that we fell in love with, so we wanted everything to go smooth. We called Home Investors. They came out, looked at our home, told us exactly what to expect. We didn't want the hassle of dealing with realtors. We didn't want people in and out of our home. We had no stress, and that's exactly what we wanted.
No hassles, that's our specialty.
Call on Home Investors, the We Buy Ugly Houses people.
Home Investors did a great job.
Attention all recipients of DePuy hip implants. Johnson & Johnson, the parent company of DePuy, is reportedly attempting to get medical releases from patients who receive DePuy hip implants so they can speak to patients directly and possibly take statements without an attorney present. Signing legal documents without consulting an attorney first is a bad idea. If you received a defective hip implant, you may be entitled to money damages. Call Whites in Luxembourg now at 1-800-657-7294. That's 1-800-657-7294.
Now at 1-800-605-3228. That's 1-800-605-3228.
Welcome back to the Big Ball Yard in the Bronx. Football today, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl here at Yankee Stadium. A terrific scene and a pretty good crowd has turned out. You expected that the Syracuse fans would support their squad, and they certainly have. 3rd down and 6 now after the timeout, and they line up With Carson Coffin as a wide receiver, Daniel Thomas set to take the direct snap and run the Wildcat. He'll pull it back and throw. Lobs it for the end zone. Laying out is Travis Tannehill, the tight end, to try and make the catch. And it was just overthrown. Well, the trick play worked for Syracuse, and that time Tannehill was open. Could have worked for Kansas State as well.
Very Tim Tebow-esque. And Daniel Thomas was a quarterback in high school and in JUCO. He had Tannehill wide open, and just maybe the adrenaline overthrew him a little bit there, but certainly they had exactly what they wanted. And Thomas, a dual threat to run it or throw it.
Now Josh Cherry will come on to attempt a 37-yard field goal attempt, 38-yard attempt on a slick field. And that will sail just wide. No good. He barely missed the right upright. So Syracuse gets a stop defensively as Cherry can't hit from 38 yards out. And Doug Marone's team will take back over.
When it's slippery out, it gets in the kicker's head. And if your plant leg, if you're not confident that your plant foot is going to go into the ground and be solid, then it affects your whole approach. It affects your swing. And right there, I think the field got in the head of Cherry.
Cherry was honorable mention all Big 12. That's only his second miss of the season. He had a long of 48 made this year. And before this kick, he was 7 of 8.
He didn't miss by much.
So now Nassib on a rollout, takes back over. He's got a Sales wide open out to about the 43-yard line. Ty Zimmerman bumped out Marcus Sales. Another big play, though, made by the junior wide receiver.
And this time the field gets Stephen Harrison. You see number 8 and White fall down, and that's what allows Sales to get open on the back end. You've got to make the adjustment. The team that makes the adjustment to the conditions faster going to have a better chance for success. You can't get overextended with your feet. You've got to keep your feet under you in these conditions.
Long Carter. He is tough to bring down. Gang tackled at about the 49-yard line. 4 yards shy of a first down for Syracuse.
Well, DeLon Carter's really, he's been under the radar. Hasn't got a whole lot of attention from NFL scouts because of his size. Only 5'9", but he's 220 pounds, and he's powerful. And with that last run, you see he passes the great Larry Zonka for 3rd all-time at Syracuse. And that's a heck of an accomplishment for that young man.
Carter stays in the game as the I-back at the top of your screen. Now in motion, Antoine Bailey, and it's an end around to Bailey. He's got blockers out in front. Down the sideline goes Bailey with a flag thrown. He's bumped out at the 34-yard line. Zimmerman again was there to make the stop, and we'll have to check the penalty.
I think you're going to get a hold on Syracuse. Nassib tried to come back on the outside and get a block.
Offense, number 81. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
They got the wide receiver, Cody Morgan.
They had the right call at the right time. You see Morgan right here. And yeah, that's a good call. He's got that right arm extended and takes away a big play. Exactly the kind of play call you see from Doug Marone. They come with play action and a deep throw off of the power game. That time off the power game, a reverse. Very creative play calling early in this game for Doug Marone.
And up to Carter after the spot foul. It's 2nd down and 6, and that'll be 3rd down and about 4. DeLon Carter was expelled last spring after getting into an altercation with another student on campus, but Doug Marone stood through him, by him during the entire reinstatement process and let him back on the team after he got back into school. And he talked about the fact that he has been nothing but a model student, did a lot of community service, a great leader. He had one mistake that was made and did a terrific job rebuilding his image. Nassib steps up and he'll run. He'll have the 1st down and more. Nassib slides down to about the 36-yard line. Went into a slide and took a hit. And the Syracuse sideline was looking for a flag to be thrown against the Kansas State defense.
Mobility as a quarterback on 3rd down can be a killer. Watch the linebackers in 2 deep. They all retreat. Nassib reads it, drops back, understands I'm not going to try to force the ball. I'm going to use my feet, plenty of room to run. And on a slick field, when linebackers try to react to a quarterback running, it's very difficult. So the advantage right now is to the offenses.
Fake the toss to Bailey. Nassib on a rollout. With a pump fake, buys time, tried to find Sales, and it was actually broken up by Nick Provo, the tight end. Provo thought the pass was for him, running underneath Sales, only about 5 yards separated the two. And Provo actually turned into a defensive player there.
And that's why spacing is so important in offensive football. You see Provo got way too deep on his flat route and got underneath the over route. Coaches are such sticklers for details, and on offense, you've got to be detailed. Your route has to be the right depth at the right time. Otherwise, those kinds of things happen. 2 open receivers.
Bailey on second down, going nowhere. Antoine Bailey shut down right at the line. Emmanuel Lemur came up and was the first man there for Kansas State. Lemur has a younger brother, Samuel, who's a quarterback for Bill Snyder, also on this team. Tied at 7 with about 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter.
Yeah, Lemur led the team in tackles a year ago, but lost his starting position to Ty Zimmerman, the true freshman, at the free safety spot. But they like to get Lemur in nickel packages. They get him up around the line of scrimmage to play linebacker because he's a big kid, 215 pounds, and he can handle it.
3rd down and 10. Pump fake for Nassib. Finds Sales. Right up the middle of the field goes Marcus Sales. Touchdown.
Kansas State is not normally a blitzing style of defense, but they decide to come after Ryan Nassib in this Syracuse offense and picked up the blitz off the edge with the corner. Nassib didn't panic, found his open receiver for the touchdown.
Ross Krautner with the point after. It's home. 2 touchdown receptions for Marcus Sales.
Take a look at Antoine Bailey on the edge with the block of the corner, flips him completely over. Nassib doesn't panic, flip sides of the field, get the ball to Sales, and outruns the defense. That's how you beat the blitz.
When I'm working with Benjamin Moore, I feel unrestricted. Wherever I need a little light, a little life, a little jazz, I feel that I have a rainbow at my fingertips, and there's no limitation to what I can create of a room.
Create your own design with Ben. It's eco-friendly and comes in every Benjamin Moore color, making fabulous style easy and affordable. And it's only available at your Benjamin Moore retailer, not at the big box stores. Capture any color and find its perfect match with the Ben Color Capture iPhone app. Download it today.
I should be shouting. I should be holding balloons. I should be jumping in the air for maximum year-end event effect. But then, like you, I'd want to punch me.
Now for the first time, get 0% financing for 72 months on the 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan.
That's right, it's a beefy crunch burrito. And yes, it's loaded with flaming hot Fritos chips because I don't like playing it safe. I'm a wild man, but also responsible because it's just 99 cents. So why don't you turn around one more time? I dare ya. Oh boy, now what? The new 99-cent beefy crunch burrito. The crunch of flaming hot Fritos chips, seasoned beef, and nacho cheese sauce. All for just 99 cents at Taco Bell.
I don't want to work out this morning. Isn't there some law against sweating before 9 a.m.? Get in shape. Who needs it? Oh yeah, I do. I need motivation. I need coffee? No. Well, hey there, buddy.
Want to actually feel like working out? Try 5 Hour Energy. It's quick, simple, and just a thing to help you get up and moving.
Let's do this.
5 Hour Energy. Feel like working out for a change.
ESPN College Football, the new era Pinstripe Bowl, is brought to you by the Touchdown Big Box, only at Taco Bell. Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And 5 Hour Energy, the no-wait, no-hassle way to a great morning.
About 20 inches of snow fell in Central Park. Over 2 feet fell in some areas around metropolitan New York City, and what a job the grounds crew did here at Yankee Stadium. They spent several days doing what they never really anticipated they would ever have to do for a sporting event in this building, and that is major snow removal, or at least major snow disbursement. They didn't remove all of it, but at least they got it off the field. And it is a skating rink out there in certain spots on this football field, but for Syracuse and Kansas State in the new era Pinstripe Bowl with 9.5 minutes to go before halftime, some big plays made. Ryan Nassib finds Marcus Sales for a touchdown a moment ago to put Syracuse back on top. Back-to-back touchdowns scored by Syracuse after Kansas State opened the scoring. Greek Quarles from about the 13-yard line. Pretty good return out to the 37-yard line as we take a look at our Amway positive performance and go back to the touchdown.
Yeah, let's go back and take a look. We talked about the blitz and how you beat the blitz. You got to have protection. Watch Antoine Bailey right here. That's what you love to see. And the defense, because of the corner blitz, has to react, and flipping the field and throwing an accurate ball from Ryan Nassib and not panicking. And then the missed tackle, you see the missed tackle by Zimmerman because of the field, and Sales is off to the races. If you're going to blitz in conditions like this with this kind of slick field, you better make sure that you can tackle on the back end.
Pretty good field position now for Kansas State at their own 37-yard line. And it's Carson Kaufman back in at quarterback. End around, they flip a reverse. Here comes Chris Harper. Bumped down at about the 40-yard line. Good job of staying home by Mike Holmes. And Holmes appeared to enjoy that tackle.
Yeah, well, Holmes kind of got lost in there. He got turned around. He looked back for the reverse. And he said, oh, no, I got to get back for a reverse. Then he said, wait a minute, it's a double reverse, so I'm already over here. You see him running across the field. Now he said, oh, I got to turn around and go back the other way. Oh, no, I don't. I got to get him right here. I'm in perfect position.
Second down and 6. Mike Holmes with his best Ice Capades impersonation. Thomas. Maybe a half yard on second down. It'll be 3rd down and 5. And Brian, let me ask you a different question about the field and the kinds of plays we've seen. Now a reverse. If you're a play caller, how much of those misdirection, change of direction type plays might you be more apt to call in this kind of a field? Do you call more nakeds? Do you call more reverses?
No doubt.
Because if you get the defense going one way, they're on ice skates trying to get the other way.
I wouldn't call the double reverse, but I would call the reverse, and I would call the screen, and I would call the naked, because anytime you can force a defense to change directions, it's to the offensive advantage.
Kaufman on 3rd down. Under some pressure. And he goes down to the 41-yard line. Mikhail Marinovich, the first man there for Syracuse defensively.
Well, 3rd down has been hitches on the outside from Kansas State. Not very creative, and right here there's nowhere to go with this football for Kaufman. He ran 3 hitches, all 3 were covered. He tries to create something and gives up the sack on the outside.
Holmes again calls for a fair catch. Lost the football. A flag comes down. It's recovered by Kansas State. Now, did Kansas State give him enough room after the fair catch signal to make the catch? A flag immediately came out, thrown by the official right behind Mike Holmes after he muffed the fair catch. It looked like Kansas State recovered, although now Syracuse is saying that they came up with the recovery.
It looked like Ty Zimmerman was right in front of Mike Holmes, didn't give him enough room to catch that football. It looked like he almost ran into him as Mike Holmes came up to make the catch. Zimmerman was right in front of him.
Kick catch interference, number 12. No contact, but did not allow the receiver to catch the ball.
here comes Zimmerman, number 12. You see him right in front, and Holmes comes up to get the ball, and Zimmerman, not expecting him to come up, was right on top of him. That's a good call by the official.
It certainly looked after the muff as well that Kansas State recovered. Although it might have been Mike Holmes getting the football back at the bottom of the pile. Syracuse keeps it nonetheless, though. And Capital One Bowl Week continues tonight as Jake Locker and the Huskies get another crack at number 18 Nebraska and Taylor Martinez. It's the Bridgepoint Education Holiday Bowl. Nebraska and Washington. Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN continuing tonight at 10 Eastern. Also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. So after the penalty, very good field position for Syracuse at their own 41. They go back to DeLon Carter, and he lost a yard back to the 40.
What a great opportunity here for Syracuse offensively, that they have struggled, as we've talked about in the latter part of the season, scoring points, only averaging 15 points a game against Big East opponents. Now they've got 14 on the board. It's the second quarter. You've got momentum here after scored 14 unanswered points. Now you got the ball back at the 40-yard line. If you can get anything accomplished with this drive, you'd be in great shape going into halftime.
Bunch formation for Syracuse on 2nd down and 11. Nassib flips it to the sideline. Modest gain. A gain of about 5 to the 45-yard line to Alec Lemon, so it will be 3rd down and 6.
And for Ryan Nassib, he's got to be feeling confident now. He's thrown deep balls accurately for touchdowns to Sales. He's diagnosed blitzes. He stood in the pocket, delivered. He's converted on 3rd down with his feet on that last drive, a big conversion. So he is playing with a level of confidence now after having a month to practice and not have anybody telling him how inconsistent he's been. I've seen some growth from him in this last month in preparation for this game, and he is ready to play today.
3rd down and 6. Nassib, well protected, fires over the middle, and just a hair behind Dorian Graham, who looked like he was trying to adjust to the football. Catchable ball, though, for Dorian Graham. And Syracuse will have to punt it away.
Yeah, that ball should have been caught. 3rd down, you stand in the pocket again. Good protection from this offensive line. Looked like he lost his footing, Dorian Graham, and led to the incompletion.
Ryan Lichtenstein out to punt, although it should be the senior Rob Long punting. But a devastating story involving the punter for Syracuse that has become tremendously inspirational. And we'll explain after Lichtenstein sends it deep. Punt card about the 25-yard line, bouncing around to Zimmerman. And he's brought down at the 26-yard line. You want to hear an inspirational story about an amazing young man? We will tell you the trials and travails of Rob Long when we come back to Yankee Stadium.
The 2011 Under Armour High School All-America game, Wednesday at 7 on ESPN.
I should be shouting. I should be holding balloons. I should be jumping in the air for maximum year-end event effect. But then, like you, I'd want to punch me.
Now for the first time, get 0% financing for 72 months on the 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan.
New Year's Day, the BCS comes to ESPN. It all gets underway at 4:30 Eastern with Wisconsin TCU in the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio. The undefeated Horned Frogs are out to take down the big boys from the Big Ten. Then at 8:30 Eastern, Connecticut battles Oklahoma in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Jones going deep. He's got his man. Look, I don't want to work forever.
Then we need to figure this out now. Our nest egg took a real hit.
What's that website your friend mentioned?
RetirementRedZone.com?
That's it, from Prudential.
Yeah, she talked to her financial advisor about what she learned there. Said it really helped her get back on track.
Oh, I like that.
Help get your plan back on track. Watch our educational video at RetirementRedZone.com, the site for the critical years before and after retirement.
Maybe I can retire after all.
Now you're talking.
Click RetirementRedZone.com, then talk to your financial professional.
Where's my $40,000 that you owe?
Am I going to be arrested for this? Of course you will. If you do that, you will get me fired.
Debt Help Center USA has announced its new National Debt Relief Program. It's called Attorney-Assisted Non-Formal Debt Resolution. There's never an upfront fee. Your debt may be dramatically reduced, and all your bills may be combined into one easy monthly payment. For a free catalog, call the toll-free hotline right now.
1-800-379-6156.
301-1988. 1-800-301-1988.
Number 47 in blue is Rob Long, the senior punter from Syracuse. He was supposed to be punting finally in a bowl game for the Cuse today and found out towards the end of November and underwent surgery right at the beginning of December that he had a benign brain tumor, or a brain tumor that was thought to be benign. It was removed and they were ready to move forward as a family, but then it was discovered not long after the surgery, after an examination by doctors was done on the brain tumor, that there were some malignant cells inside the tumor that was removed from the head of Rob Long. And so he is about to begin treatment to try and battle cancer. Unable to participate today. A long throw over the middle, broken up by Philip Thomas. A flag comes out on what might be a helmet-to-helmet hit. Philip Thomas was there. Aubrey Quarles, the intended receiver, and while Thomas was celebrating up the field, breaking up that play, behind him a flag was thrown.
Personal foul, high contact, number 1 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot results in an automatic first down.
Well, it is a partisan Syracuse crowd here at Yankee Stadium that didn't like the call. And that was the shoulder to the shoulder of Aubrey Quarles. Not sure, but having said that, it's still 15 yards against Syracuse.
Yeah, it certainly looked like he hit him shoulder to shoulder there, and that's a difficult call.
So now Daniel Thomas lines up as the I-back after 15 yards, hands Kansas State the ball at the 42-yard line. Draw play to Thomas. And he picks up a couple of yards. But again, Rob Long, our thoughts and prayers go to him and his family, and he's standing by with Eamon McEnany down on the Syracuse sideline.
Thanks, Bob. Bob was detailing your situation, but you've been able to make it to New York this week. You went down to the Stock Exchange, and you've been to practice. What has it meant to you to be around the Syracuse football team once again?
It's been amazing, really. It's meant the world to me to come here. And I told the guys, I said, this has been the best week of my life to be back around the team, especially just from earlier in the month. And you know what I've been through, and it's just been awesome to come back and be with a team where I feel like I need to be and where I belong.
Many of your teammates this week have mentioned you as an inspirational figure. We've seen some even write your number, shave your number in their helmets. How would you describe the support you received from your coaches and teammates?
It's been inspiring to me, and you know, I'm just trying to fight what I have and keep on battling, and you know that they're out there and they're at practice every day and they're doing and they're working hard, and you know they keep me going every day. I get messages and texts from them, and they've been awesome. You know, just keep me motivated and keep me staying positive.
Speaking of your battle, what's next for you after this game when you return home to Pennsylvania?
Next step is gonna be like a 6-week radiation and chemo treatment. You know, I'm staying optimistic that it's gonna work, and we're gonna beat this and go through it. And it's not gonna be easy, but I don't think anything ever is. And you know, I'm just ready to fight it and move on and just keep on battling and get back to football.
All right, speaking of football, let's get back to this week. You were able to practice at the Jets facility and then even out here today. What have some of the highlights for you as a punter been this week?
I mean, I figured today I don't get many chances to punt at Yankee Stadium, so I came out before the game and just hit a couple with my teammates, and you know, it was nice to know I could still punt after everything. And you know, I'm just really happy and thankful that the doctors did what they did, and they've been great. And just the support from the team and the community that I've had, and it just keeps me motivated to just get better each day.
All right, Rob, thanks a lot for your time. Best of luck. All our wishes and prayers with you. Bob?
All right, Eamon, thanks very much. Up the seam, tipped ball finds its way to Chris Harper on 2nd down and long. So Syracuse that close to an interception, and Kansas State still picks up a first down.
Well, this is the second time that Doug Hogue has got his hands on the football and had it go right through his hands. Syracuse has struggled this year to get these kinds of turnovers. They've played such good defense, but they've only forced 17 turnovers on the season. That's 92nd in the country, and Doug Hogue would love to get a little bit more stickum on those gloves.
Wildcat formation again for the Wildcats. Daniel Thomas set to take the direct snap, and again, Kansas State will call timeout from the sideline. That is their final timeout. Well, we talked to Doug Marrone earlier this week, asked him about the Rob Long situation, and he told us originally he was devastated, but then he felt inspired because he went and talked to Rob Long and heard him basically tell the head coach what he told Eamon McEnany. An inspiring young man. We'll step aside for just a moment.
I should be shouting. I should be holding balloons. I should be jumping in the air for maximum year-end event effect. But then, like you, I'd want to punch me.
Now for the first time, get 0% financing for 72 months on the 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan.
Mickey has a chance to do something that I never did, and he needs me.
You're crazy.
I'm the one fighting, not you. Come on, man!
The Fighter, rated R, now playing.
How'd he come out of retirement to coach a bunch of mama's boys? Hey, your mama's not here to wipe away your tears or to give you a lollipop for your boo-boo. Hi, Mama. Coach did get hurt by feelings. So what? And if you don't like it, maybe you ought to go back and live with your mama.
Well? Coach, these are the Under Armour high school All-Americans. They do live with their mamas.
Well, maybe I ought to drop this line about whining about your contracts, too, huh?
I would.
Ditka's back to coach the Under Armour All-America high school football game on ESPN.
At Amway, our positive outlook comes naturally. We harvest healthy plant ingredients from our own organic farms, ingredients found in our Nutrilite supplements, and offer more than 450 quality products, from planet-positive cleaners to botanically infused skincare. Positivity, powering the products, the people, and the businesses of Amway. To learn more, contact an Amway independent business owner.
New Smirnoff Premium Malt Mixed Drinks. A delicious collision of blueberry and lemon. And a real mixed drink taste, worthy of a glass. 5.8% alcohol by volume. Please drink responsibly.
Shoes and Brian Greasy, Eamon McEnany back at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The New Era Pinstripe Bowl, the inaugural edition between Syracuse and Kansas State. Kansas State now out of timeouts, but they've got it 1st and 10 inside the Syracuse 40-yard line. Kansas State opened the scoring on a Daniel Thomas touchdown run, but they've now fallen behind. And they run the option here with Kaufman on a keeper. Gets to the sideline. He's got a first down. Doug Marrone looking for a holding call from the Syracuse sideline, but Kaufman found a crease, and he's out of bounds at the 26.
Syracuse came with the blitz off the strong side. Here's Hogue. He's going to come free and just miss the tackle on Kaufman. They had the perfect defense call. He just let him go underneath, and first down run of 11 yards for the quarterback Kaufman, who has just enough mobility to hurt you on the perimeter.
Lost his footing, but he wasn't the ball carrier, as Daniel Thomas may have picked up a yard. Are you surprised they're running as much of the option with Carson Kaufman in the game as they are, especially on this kind of a field?
Well, he's been relatively successful throwing the football early in this game. He's now 4-7 for 36 yards throwing the ball, and he's made some conversions. So I think if he's able to execute this offense, throw the ball when needed, he has enough ability in the option game, as you saw in that last play, to hurt you. So, no, it's not surprising.
Thomas spun down behind the line by Doug Hogue.
And finally, Doug Hogue who's dropped 2 interceptions, missed a few tackles, gets in the backfield and is able to make this play. You let it roll, you'll see him come right through off of the edge and unblocked. And Doug Hogue has been their best player on defense all year. He was first team All Big East. He's got 89 tackles on the year, 9.5 of those for loss. He is a disruptive player, probably their best pro prospect on defense.
He's only been a defensive player for a couple of years. He was a running back until Doug Marrone arrived and suggested he try linebacker. And in spite of only playing defense for 2 years at Syracuse, he's in the top 10 in tackles for loss. 3rd down and 10. Kaufman up the seam, and he's got a first down inside the 15 down to about the 10-yard line, still on his feet. Here's Aubrey Quarles fighting for yardage. Right at the 10-yard line, he's stopped. It'll be 1st and goal for Kansas State.
Syracuse comes with a 3-man rush on 3rd down, and it allows the quarterback plenty of time to operate in the pocket. Kaufman does a nice job extending the play, and that is a difficult throw, rolling to your left as a right-handed quarterback to get your hips back around and throw that ball accurately. Credit Kaufman with a great throw there and a big conversion to get his team inside the 10-yard line.
And then it's Daniel Thomas set to take the direct snap. Runs the keeper left at the 5. Into the end zone for the 2nd time here in the first half goes Daniel Thomas.
That is why they have been so successful in the red zone, first in the country in converting touchdowns, because when they get inside the 15, 10-yard line, it is all Daniel Thomas, and led the Big 12 in touchdowns, that being their 39th rushing touchdown on the year. Impressive.
18 rushing touchdowns for Daniel Thomas this season. His 2nd today. And we are tied at 14 with 1:51 to go before halftime. 39% of the time, when Kansas State snaps the football, it ends up in the hands of Daniel Thomas. He's got 2 scores.
Consider transforming the entire planet with just one big idea. Consider answering the call to lead the next greatest generation. Consider finding your true purpose through an exchange of ideas. Consider using your creativity to leave your mark on the world. Consider stretching your mind today to create a completely new career tomorrow. Consider Kansas State University.
Back at Yankee Stadium, and Capital One Bowl Week continues on ESPN Friday with 3 games at noon Eastern. South Florida meets Clemson in the Meineke Car Care Bowl. Then at 3:30 Eastern, it's Georgia against Central Florida in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And finally at 7:30, South Carolina takes on Florida State in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. A great triple header available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. 3 more games tomorrow. As Capital One Bowl Week continues, we roll towards the BCS. Remember, ESPN is the home for all of your BCS games, taking you right up to the Tostitos BCS Championship game. Auburn and Oregon for the National Championship on January 10th. Prince Tyson Gully lost his footing, lost the football, down by contact. And let's check in with Wendy Nix and look at what's coming up on the halftime report.
Bob, thank you. Coming up on the 18-hour block halftime report, it's a battle of 2 top-tier quarterbacks in the Holiday Bowl, Taylor Martinez and Jake Locker. Terrell Pryor and the 4 other suspended Ohio State players make a commitment to the Buckeyes, and Tennessee looks for its 5th consecutive win, but standing in the way, the UNC Tar Heels. We'll see you back here for the half.
All right, Wendy, thanks very much. So still a chance to run the 2-minute offense for Ryan Nassib. Syracuse has all 3 of their timeouts. So they can run the football if they want, and they will do just that with Antoine Bailey. All the way to midfield. Lost the football when he hit the deck. And he will be ruled down by contact at the 50-yard line.
It's one of the favorite things of the West Coast offense to start out a 2-minute drill, run the draw, see what you get. If you don't get anything, then you just be conservative. If you get a big gainer, now you're right into the 2-minute drill at midfield with 3 timeouts, as you said, and over a minute and a half on the clock.
Nassib sacked at the 46-yard line.
Got to take a timeout here.
Raphael Guidry with his first sack of the season brings down Ryan Nassib. It's a loss of 4, and Doug Marrone will call timeout.
And that's what you can't do in the 2-minute drill. You can't take a sack.
Well, it looked like the left guard, Zach Chabane, was getting an earful from the head coach.
Well, when you're an offensive line coach, you look at the offensive line. He's not watching the quarterback. He's not watching the receivers or the running backs. He's watching that offensive line, and he knows exactly who's at fault up front.
Doug Marrone spent 7 years in the NFL prior to Syracuse. From 2002 to 2005, he was the offensive line coach for the New York Jets. And then from 2006 to 2008, moved to New Orleans and was the offensive coordinator there. But of course, he was an offensive lineman at Syracuse from 1983 through 1985, and then briefly in the NFL with the Dolphins and Saints. First Syracuse alum to be the head coach at the Cuse since 1947. After the timeout, 2nd down and long. Nassib well protected that time. Over the middle, he's got Bailey. And Bailey spins very close to another Syracuse first down. It looks like he's got it to the Kansas State 39. And that'll stop the clock, at least for the moment, with 1:23 to go.
That's what Antoine Bailey does so well. Coming out of the backfield, just a simple read route. He's one-on-one on the linebacker and gets inside for a big gain of 12.
In a 4-man rush, and Nassib goes down. As we said, this is a field that at times resembles a skating rink, and the cleats just can't dig in.
And you got to take another timeout here as Syracuse is done. You just can't get extended. You can't get, you're in the 2-minute drill. You're Ryan Nassib. You're trying to get in a rhythm and move the ball. And you get back a little too fast and you lose your footing.
Well, Brian Greasy, it was Kansas State that opened the scoring. The second play from scrimmage in the game, Daniel Thomas broke outside and took it to the house for a 51-yard touchdown. But then Syracuse used the trick play to come back and tie the game.
Well, the trick play, the flea flicker to perfection, and the accurate throw downfield, which Ryan Nassib has been inconsistent with all year to Sales, gets them tied up, and then they take the lead on this play, diagnosing the blitz and getting it to Sales again, who is having a career day today. But an answer to tie up this football game at 14 from Kansas State, and that's where we stand just before halftime.
So with Nassib slipping and falling on first down, 2nd down and 16 with 1:10 to go in the first half. Wants to set up the screen, finds Bailey, but he can't find any running room. Brought down immediately by David Garrett. Garrett at 5'8", 176 pounds. On the depth chart, he's a linebacker. That's not usually the height and weight of a linebacker.
He's a heck of a player, though. He's a leading tackler on that defense. One of the most competitive players on the field.
On 3rd down, Nassib, again, some happy feet in the pocket, and he'll take off and run. All the way down to about the 34-yard line. And it looks like Syracuse might call their final timeout here with 34 seconds to go in the first half. Sets up 4th down and 5. Now, again, you're in that no man's land where it's on such a slick field. Way too long to try a field goal of anywhere from 51 to 52 yards. So
I don't know about that. That's a big play by Ryan Nassib to scramble there to get to the 35-yard line. I don't know if you have anything to lose here by attempting a field goal, but Nassib had nowhere to go with this football. Pulls it down and gets some positive yardage. This is a big play to get them back in position, either go for it on 4th down, which they may do, or attempt a field goal. they go for it here and get it, and you get up on the ball, spike it, and you might have a couple shots at the end zone before you attempt a field goal. So that's credit to Ryan Nassib on that last play. It was a good decision.
Yeah, I would think if I were Doug Marrone, I'm thinking if I go for it on 4th and 5, even if I don't get it, considering the fact that Kansas State is out of timeouts, it'll be under 30 seconds to go, they'll take a knee.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're trying to potentially, by going for it and failing, giving Kansas State another chance to score points.
No.
So on 4th down and 5, Syracuse will go for it. Both teams out of timeouts now. Nassib over the middle, and it's incomplete. Syracuse looking for a flag. Marcus Sales, the intended receiver. Alex Rebeck was riding up his back as the ball was released.
They tried to run a little route on the inside, isolate Marcus Sales, who's hot on the linebacker Rebeck. It's one-on-one coverage, and you expect a wide receiver to win in that case. Going to come up, stop, and then move. Rebeck gets his hands on him, which is legal. Ball's a little bit high, but credit Rebeck with good coverage in one-on-one against the wide receiver.
So now, predictably, without any timeouts, Kansas State will take a knee, and we'll head to the locker room tied at 14. A fun first half in the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Kansas State scores the first touchdown. Syracuse, with the help of the bomb flea flicker from Nassib to Sales, gets the equalizer. Then Sales scored again to make it 14-7 Syracuse before Kansas State marched down to tie the game before halftime. And remember, Syracuse will start the third quarter with the football as that officially takes us to halftime. And let's check in with Eamon McEnany.
All right, Coach, several animated conversations with the officials late in that first half. What's been your major concern there?
No, the officials are doing a great job. We just got to make sure we execute and, just play fairly, stay up high on, the hit. And, then we got a tip ball going there, and we just got to execute. We're giving them some plays down the field.
Footing has been an issue on this field for both teams. Do you expect any adjustments foot gear-wise out there on this icy field?
No, it's for both teams, so we're fine. The field's pretty much in great shape. I really believe that. And, again, you just got to cut off your outside foot, not cut off your inside foot. We all know how to play this game.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck in the second half. Bob?
All right, Eamon, thanks very much. So Doug Marrone's team deadlocked at 14 with Kansas State in the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Now let's go back to Wendy Nix. It's the H&R Block halftime report.
Bob, thank you very much. So glad you could be here with us at the half. I'm Wendy Nix alongside Mark May and Lou Holtz. We begin with Marcus Sales, and with good reason. In this first half, he had 2 touchdown receptions of note, not only because that's good news for his team, but also because he had one reception for a touchdown all season long before this first half.
Well, what a career day for this junior wide receiver coming into this game. And if you watch this play, and everybody's calling it a flea flicker, I played in the Joe Gibbs era Washington Redskins, 10 years with the Redskins and another 3 years under Joe Bugle and Dan Henning. This is a throwback special. This is Charlie Protection throwback special, Big Apple. And what a terrific route. He goes right for the post pattern there. Great protection up front. It is terrific execution by the guys on the offensive line, and a great Sales job by Marcus Sales on this play. And how about this one? This is his second touchdown reception of the day. Now watch this. Kansas State's going to come with a blitz, but keep your eye on Antoine Bailey at the top of the screen. Look at this block. Flips over the blitzer, and a terrific job by the quarterback. Ryan Nassib standing in the pocket, throwing the ball to Marcus Sales. Another touchdown reception. You look at this Syracuse offense. Coming into this game, 99th in scoring offense. This is high production for the Syracuse Orange.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, Kansas State has one of the worst defenses in the entire country, giving up well over 30 points a game. As a football coach, you go to bed the night before the game. You worry about everything. You worry about every position. You worry about officials. Normally, you don't worry about the field. But there's no doubt about it. This field is going to have a marked difference on who wins the football game. You just saw Syracuse going back to pass Nassib. He slips and falls, cost him 15 yards. They don't do that. They end up kicking a field goal at the end of the half.
Weather, of course, has been an issue all week. New York still trying to dig out from that massive blizzard on Sunday. They didn't clear the streets.
But they got the field cleaned.
Not to worry, there are priorities. They got Yankee Stadium ready for this.
You ought to be thankful.
Kansas State, by the way, looking for their first bowl win since the 2002 Holiday Bowl. We've got a pretty good matchup of quarterbacks coming up in this year's edition of the Holiday Bowl. Jake Locker does not want a repeat of his game against Nebraska in September. We'll take a closer look at this game coming up.
This halftime report is presented by H&R Block. Never settle for less.
This aisle isn't big enough for 2 zeros.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Is that all you got?
I'm up to my knees in 0 calories. Pepsi to the max, so let's drink all of these. Snoop! Pepsi Max. Too much taste to be called a zero.
Driving to 4,000 meters?
Go down, 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 down. Straight, go straight. Just go to the right. To the right. No, to the right. Go to the right. Whoa, whoa. What is that?
Well, that's a, I don't know.
Can we call him Blinky?
Expert teaching, deeper learning. Together, we are the Human Network. Cisco.
A little more, and whoa.
Yeah, nice.
Agents, what do we have here?
An Autobotome. I've only heard about these.
And
we can save them hundreds by combining their auto, boat, and home policies, all under Farmers.
Exactly.
Are these legal?
Define legal.
Well, can you drive it on a street?
Yeah. No.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
I faced one of the toughest challenges of my life right here. I couldn't swim, but I can still hear my drill instructor today. Don't quit. So I jumped in, apprehensive and scared out of my mind. But I came up a Marine.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
Check it. Oh, come on!
Need a better battery? Get the one preferred by Autotex 5-to-1 over any other. Interstate batteries. Outrageously dependable.
Daniel Thomas, 78 yards and 2 touchdowns, in large part why he's got his team tied up at the half, 14-all, Kansas State and Syracuse. Coming up tonight, it's the Holiday Bowl, Nebraska and Washington. Here's Aaron Andrews with a preview.
In round 1 of the Nebraska-Washington matchup early in September, it was a dismal outing for senior quarterback Jake Locker. He went 4 for 20 with 71 yards and threw for 2 interceptions as the Huskies lost to Nebraska 56-21. Round 2 here in San Diego for the Bridgepoint Education Holiday Bowl. Locker's offensive coordinator Doug Nussmeier has said his quarterback is better and ready to go. Why? He's more familiar with the system. He's improved, and so has his confidence. So what's Nebraska's incentive after already beating down Locker and the Huskies in early September? Well, senior defensive end Pierre Allen told me Washington has had a ton of time to prep for this game. Locker didn't throw everything at us in game 1, and we have to be prepared for him to have the ball in his hands all night long. As for Nebraska's quarterback, Taylor Martinez, he's been banged up all year, dealing with a sprained right ankle and turf toe. His head coach, Bo Pelini, has said he's healthy, he's ready to go, and he will start on Thursday night.
Aaron, thank you. And we begin with Martinez, who has also had an ankle injury. He's battled injuries all season long. How much of a difference has that made in his play, Coach, especially later in the year?
Well, everybody says it's made a big difference. I can't tell personally. You have to play through injury. But let's look at the stats that he had. The first 7 football games, he was outstanding. He averaged 124 yards a game rushing. Now, in his last 5 football games, he's only averaging 14 yards rushing. In the first 7 games, this young man accounted for 20 touchdowns. In the last 5 games, he's only accounted for 1 touchdown. However, he only needs 58 yards rushing in order to become the 3rd freshman to ever rush and pass for 1,000 yards in the same season his freshman year. So he's had a fantastic year, but it has gone downhill.
Jake Locker, on the other hand, would certainly like to have that game back in September. One of the worst of his career against Nebraska. He threw 2 interceptions, but you could argue, Mark, that it's unrealistic to expect that same type of performance this time around.
I think he'll play much better. I think this Washington team will play much better against Nebraska. It won't be 56-21 like last time. The reason, because Jake Locker will be healthy. He's more familiar with this offense. And not only that, he was 4 for 20, as Wendy mentioned, but in the pocket, he was 2 for 15. Out of the pocket, 2 for 5. I think Steve Sarkisian, the head coach, he's the commander of this offense. He will have Jake Locker roll out and throw passes, get him out of the pocket, let him make plays with his arm and his legs, because against Nebraska the first time around, he rushed the ball for 59 yards and a touchdown. So I expect Jake Locker to roll out of the pocket, throw the ball a lot, and run the ball a lot in this game, and his numbers will be drastically changed from the first time around against this Nebraska Cornhusker defense.
Coach?
Well, I think that he definitely will, but by the same token, Nebraska's had a great defensive secondary all year. However, Oklahoma did torch him for 342 yards passing, but he doesn't have Broyles and he doesn't have some of the running backs like DeMarco Murray. But it should be a good contest. Even though they lost 56-21, there's something about revenge factor when you play them again.
She asked a simple question. Who's going to win?
Oh, she did. What do I think? They pay me to give my opinion, whether you like it or not.
Your opinion on who might win?
Oh, Nebraska's going to win. I mean, I'm trying to make it in. Watch the game. It is going to be a good game.
That, my friends, is why they play the game. Young quarterbacks struggle early. They often do. They also often improve, and such was the case with Tyler Bray. Will it be enough as Tennessee looks for their 5th straight win? They'll face UNC, and we'll talk about this.
Drug problem. 10% of the world's medicine is counterfeit,
affecting over 1 billion people a year. On a smarter planet, we're building intelligence into things.
So we can follow this medicine from the factory to the distribution center,
to the pharmacy, and know it's the real thing. Keeping counterfeits off the shelves.
In places like the U.S.,
Tanzania,
and India, smarter medicine is safer medicine.
That's what I'm working on.
I'm an IBMer.
Let's build a smarter planet.
Right now, the NCAA is building over 400,000 future professionals. And most of us will go pro in something other than sports.
You're watching the H&R Block Halftime Report.
Where else would you be on New Year's Day? But right here on ESPN, we've got 6 games, including 3 Big Ten SEC matchups and the first 2 BCS games. And don't forget, College Game Day kicks it all off at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPNU and 11 a.m. on ESPN. It's the Music City Bowl on deck. Coming up in just a bit, Butch Davis and his UNC Tar Heels, after a difficult season, arriving in Nashville, getting set to face Tennessee. Todd McShay with players to watch in the Music City Bowl.
Coming into the season, there were 6 prospects for UNC that I had given a first or second round grade to, 5 of which were on the defensive side of the ball. Now, 2 never saw the field. One of them was suspended early in the season, but is back playing, and that's Dante Williams, and he's the player I think you need to watch in this game. He's coming off of a 9-tackle game against Duke, finally starting to play like he did back in 2009 when he had the 5 interceptions and was all over the field. Remember, he's going up against Tyler Bray, a freshman quarterback for Tennessee. It's an interesting matchup to watch. On the other side for Tennessee, they're in rebuilding mode, but watch out for Luke Stalker at the tight end position. He's not a great down-the-field pass catcher, but he's become very reliable in that regard, and he's one of the better blockers of the entire tight end class in 2011.
Certainly the expectations for North Carolina's season changed once those suspensions became public, but still they've managed to keep the train on the tracks. Coach, how have they done that without these players?
Well, because of the quarterback, T.J. Yates. Last year, they won despite T.J. Yates. He threw 15 interceptions, only 14 touchdowns. This year, he has had a tremendous turnaround. This young man has done a great job. He's thrown for over 100 yards more a game this year than he did last year. He's thrown 18 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions. His pass efficiency is now the 23rd in the country, whereas last year was 97th. And let's remember this. There have been 8 players that aren't going to play this entire year, suspended. 6 others missed 25 games. In all, 35 scholarship players have missed at least 1 game, but T.J. Yates has taken them to victory.
Not only that, he's done a great job of rallying this football team, becoming the leader of this football team through all the adversity off the field. But I look at the future right now, and I look at Tennessee, and they've got a true freshman in their quarterback in Tyler Bray. He started 4 games this season, the last 4 games. And what happened in those last 4 games? Tennessee won not 1, not 2, not 3, but all 4 of the games. And in those 4 games, he threw 12 touchdown passes and over 1,200 yards. He's added excitement. He's added enthusiasm to this Tennessee volunteer football program. And not only this young quarterback, they've got 3 freshman offensive linemen. So for Derek Dooley and this Tennessee volunteer program, there's a bright future down the road.
But they've only beaten 1 bowl team this year. That was UK.
Both of these teams, it's interesting, started out the season with different expectations, of course, with the departure of Lane Kiffin, with the suspensions. We shall see. It's intriguing because these teams, because of the future of both of these teams. Coming up, there's still another half of football to be played. Marcus Sells, 1 touchdown reception all year. He's got 2 in the first half of this game. But his team all knotted up with Kansas State, 14-14 at the half.
Got a cold? Confused what to get? Click on the Robitussin Relief Finder, click on your symptoms, get the right relief. Makes the cold aisle easy. The Robitussin Relief Finder. It's that simple.
It's showtime.
Where have you been? You could have texted me.
Watch out, they don't text.
Machete on Blu-ray.
$100 for a pair of jeans? Give me a break. I wear Lee Premium Select because they fit, they're comfortable, and they cost less than $50. And according to studies, I've been told they make my butt look good. Researcher.
Getting comfortable never looked so good. $15.99 doesn't get you much at other restaurants. But at Dave & Buster's, $15.99 gets you the Eat and Play combo. Get a $10 game card and your choice of 8 delicious...
Powertrain back for 100,000 miles. That's 40,000 miles more than Ford. Because the people we're depending on need something they can depend on. Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road.
Right now, get no monthly payments till spring, plus 0% APR financing and $1,500 holiday allowance on this 2011 Silverado All-Star. See your local Chevy dealer.
Hi, this is George Moore of the all-new George Moore Chevrolet. It's great to be back, and we're now in our new location on Atlantic Boulevard, just east of 9A. We have a great selection of Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock, and our pre-owned inventory is growing by the day. Our award-winning GM service department is also open to provide the care you deserve on your Chevrolet, Saturn, or other GM make a vehicle. We're back, we're bigger, we're better, and by George, we're still right on the money.
That's 1-800-841-4062. Call now.
This halftime report is presented by H&R Block. Never settle for less.
Tonight at 9 Eastern on ESPN2 and ESPN3.com, #1 UConn puts its 90-game win streak on the line against 8th-ranked Stanford. By the way, Stanford, the last team to beat the Huskies. The Cardinal coming off an impressive 37-point win over Xavier. They have won 51 straight at home. Something's got to give. And men's hoops, 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. It's Temple facing number 8 Villanova. That's coming up tonight. The Armed Forces Bowl played earlier today. Army with the 2-point win over SMU, their first bowl win since 1985.
What do you think of that, Coach?
I thought that was an impressive victory. Now, SMU in the same year lost to Navy and Army, and 2 of the service academies won bowl games this year.
They are back. Some college football news and notes. All 5 suspended Ohio State players say they'll return next season. Tressel told the players they could not travel to the bowl game if they did not plan on coming back. Miami quarterback Ja'Cory Harris will start in the Hyundai Sun Bowl, facing Notre Dame, and Mississippi State head coach Dan Mullen has agreed to a 4-year, $10.5 million deal, more than doubling his previous contract. That's what happens when jobs start opening and people come calling. Kansas State and Syracuse both looking for a victory. They've got another half to be played at Yankee Stadium. Enjoy, everybody.
Let's throw down some style. Style that lasts a lifetime. What do you say we get the look we want, the softness we need, and an unbeatable lifetime stain warranty for whatever life throws at it? Then, let's save big on the installation. We're lowering the cost of going barefoot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get exclusive Martha Stewart Living in Platinum Plus installed in your whole house for only $37.
She's got potential. Brad, it's time.
G'day. Why don't we skip the chitter chatter, jump right to the pad of the night where you take me home?
Why don't we?
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! That's great.
Don't drive drunk. Be the man with a plan and get your buddies home safe. Miller Lite. Taste greatness.
Get on ya.
Dude,
cheers.
Drop the accent. We're home.
Are things different now that I'm not crushing quarterbacks every Sunday?
Yeah, a little bit. But I still have a taste for greatness.
So I love Dr. Pepper. The taste of these 23 flavors can never be equaled. Like me.
Pizza perfect nab.
I got it.
Donovan. Mike? What, man? Come on, Mike, man.
Still got it. There's nothing like a pepper. Trust me. I've sent people to the doctor.
I would love to have been a musician, but I knew that I was going to need a day job. We actually have a lot of scientists that play music. The creativity, the innovation, there's definitely a tie there. One thing our scientists are working on is carbon capture and storage, which could prevent CO2 from entering the atmosphere. We've just built a new plant to demonstrate how we can safely freeze out the CO2 from natural gas. It looks like snow. It's one way that we're helping provide energy with fewer emissions.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed sports history being made. Play like a champion. Play like a champion. Play like a champion. Play like a champion.
Welcome back to the Bronx. Capital One Bowl Week continues. The inaugural New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Kansas State and Syracuse just about set for the start of the second half. A 14-14 tie at halftime. Happy days, happy holidays from all of us at ESPN to all of yours. Bob Wischusen alongside Brian Greasy, Eamon McInady with us here in the Bronx as well. And Brian, the quarterbacks made some plays in the first half. These are two teams that at times struggled offensively this year, but it seemed like they executed fairly well.
Yeah, both guys come in a little bit maligned this year, but they've made plays. Carson Kaufman with his arm and his feet made plays in the first half, and on the flip side, Ryan Nassib who has struggled to throw the ball accurately downfield and make big plays for the Syracuse offense, was perfect on this throw in the flea flicker to Sales, and he also showed some composure in the pocket, not flinching against the blitz, getting the ball out accurately, and Sales made one guy miss, and those are the 14 points for Syracuse. And whatever quarterback can handle the elements in the second half, and whichever defense can handle this field from a footing standpoint, I think has got a great chance to win.
Syracuse won the toss and deferred their option of the second half, so they'll start the third quarter with the football. And it'll be Prince Tyson Gully back deep to receive. And this will bounce down inside the 15-yard line and take a left turn out of bounds. So great field position for the Cuse at their own 40-yard line. And let's check in with Eamon.
All right, Bob, I caught up with Coach Bill Snyder on his way out of the locker room, and he said offensively the Wildcats don't have to make any adjustments. They have to execute better. He said when we executed, we came up with 2 touchdowns. Different story on the defensive end. He is not happy at all about giving up 2 big plays. He said we just have to be more disciplined and play smarter on the defensive side of the ball, and that's what's out there right now. And guys down here on the field, it doesn't look like anyone's changing their foot gear. It still looks like cleats is the shoe of choice down here on this icy field.
Well, Eamon, I'm not sure what they could have gone to other than Bowers. DeLon Carter tries to turn the corner and does. Carter into plus territory. Run out of bounds at the 45-yard line of Kansas State by Terrence Sweeney as we take a look at our game track brought to you by Nationwide. 102 rushing yards in the first half for Syracuse, almost equaled for the most part for Kansas State by Daniel Thomas. Syracuse very balanced offensively, Brian.
Well, and you look at the total yards, 242 yards for Syracuse. They come into the game averaging just a little bit over 300 for the game, so they're way ahead of schedule and performing well.
Another crease for Carter. Wrestled down at about the 35-yard line from behind after a gain of 11 more.
You know, the thing that I think DeLon Carter has the advantage with in this second half is the fact that he is 5'9", and he does have a short stride, and he's low to the ground and can keep his balance. On a field like this, it's very slippery. You don't want to have big striding guys. He's got quick feet, keeps him on the ground, allows him to make cuts without falling.
Carter finds some room again. Powers his way down to about the 30-yard line. Ran over Terrence Sweeney. Again, DeLon Carter came into today number 4 all-time in rushing history for Syracuse, but in the first half he moved past Larry Zonka for number 3 all-time. He's got 10 career 100-yard games, 1,000 yards rushing the last 2 years in a row, now up over 1,100 yards this year. And they go right back to him. Another first down for Carter inside the 25.
Well, DeLon Carter's starting to catch his rhythm, but so is the offensive line for Syracuse. Coming off the right guard and right tackle, Andrew Tiller, Michael Hay coming off the ball. There's no contact until DeLon Carter gets 4 or 5 yards downfield. I mean, this is impressive to come out second half, first drive, and strictly on the ground, move the ball.
Now it's Antoine Bailey's turn. He finds a cutback lane. Bailey's still on his feet all the way down to about the 11-yard line. Another first down for Syracuse. Tyson Hartman made the stop for Kansas State.
This is just big smash mouth football up front. You get this offensive line coming off the ball, and the adjustments that they made at halftime are starting to wear on this Kansas State defense, which we all know comes into this game 118th in the country.
Carter again to the 7. Again, it's Terrence Sweeney making the stop, and boy, it is nothing but secondary players making all the tackles on these Syracuse running backs for Kansas State.
You can imagine the pep talk at halftime from Doug Marrone, the former offensive line coach, to this offense and say, hey, I'm going to put this game on your shoulders. We're going to come out and strictly run the football in this first drive. It's on you. You're the ones that got to get it done, and they're doing it now.
Second down, Carter turns the corner. Touchdown, Syracuse. How easy was that?
one of the first things he had to do at Syracuse to turn this program around is change the attitude. That was an attitude drive right there. Come out, play physical, and just take the will of your opponent.
7 straight carries between DeLon Carter and Antoine Bailey, covering 60 yards for Syracuse. Carter is now over 100 yards for the 11th time in his career, 8th rushing touchdown of the season, and the Orange has the lead back.
During the big game, you'll never miss any of the action with the Birkenfield QR76 binoculars. The QR76 features fluoride prism lenses, an ergonomic focus, and diopter controls, all of which you'll need because you didn't buy your tickets on StubHub. For 10 years, StubHub has been the place to find great tickets to sports, concerts, and more, even on the day of the event, and even if it's sold out. StubHub. Where do you want to sit?
Introducing the bigger 4-door all-wheel drive Mini Countryman. On Blu-ray and DVD, whatever your holiday gift cards are worth.
$5, $100, $10,000.
Give yourself the perfect gift.
Plus shipping and handling. Even if I buy it here, it ships from somewhere else, and I've been handling it.
Own Dinner for Schmucks on Blu-ray and DVD this Tuesday.
Should I have all my policies with Nationwide Insurance? Bring in the parrots.
Home, auto, life.
You see, Jack, when your home, auto, and life insurance are with separate companies, they're just noisy, right? But when they work together... Beautiful. Nationwide Insurance can get your policies in sync and save you up to 25%. I didn't know they could sing like that. Hit it, fellas.
Nationwide is on your side.
But I still have a taste for greatness. So I love Dr. Pepper. The taste of these 23 flavors can never be equaled. Like me.
Pizza perfect nab. I got it.
Donovan.
Mike? What, man? Come on, Mike, man.
Still got it. There's nothing like a pepper. Trust me. I've sent people to the doctor.
I would love to have been a musician, but I knew that I was going to need a day job. We actually have a lot of scientists that play music. The creativity, the innovation, there's definitely a tie there. One thing our scientists are working on is carbon capture and storage, which could prevent CO2 from entering the atmosphere. We've just built a new plant to demonstrate how we can safely freeze out the CO2 from natural gas. It looks like snow. It's one way that we're helping provide energy with fewer emissions.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed sports history being made. Play like a champion. Play like a champion. Play like a champion. Play like a champion.
Welcome back to the Bronx. Capital One Bowl Week continues. The inaugural New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Kansas State and Syracuse just about set for the start of the second half. A 14-14 tie at halftime. Happy days, happy holidays from all of us at ESPN to all of yours. Papa Shoes and alongside Brian Greasy, Eamon McEnady with us here in the Bronx as well. And Brian, the quarterbacks made some plays in the first half. These are two teams that at times struggled offensively this year, but it seemed like they executed fairly well.
Yeah, both guys come in a little bit maligned this year, but they've made plays. Carson Kaufman with his arm and his feet made plays in the first half. And on the flip side, Ryan Nassib, who has struggled to throw the ball accurately downfield and make big plays for the Syracuse offense, was perfect on this throw in the flea flicker to Sales. And he also showed some composure in the pocket, not flinching against the blitz, getting the ball out accurately, and Sales made one guy miss, and those are the 14 points for Syracuse. And whatever quarterback can handle the elements in the second half, and whichever defense can handle this field from a footing standpoint, I think has got a great chance to win.
Syracuse won the toss and deferred their option to the second half, so they'll start the third quarter with the football. And it'll be Prince Tyson Gully back deep to receive. And this will bounce down inside the 15-yard line and take a left turn out of bounds. So great field position for the Cuse at their own 40-yard line. And let's check in with Eamon.
All right, Bob, I caught up with Coach Bill Snyder on his way out of the locker room, and he said offensively the Wildcats don't have to make any adjustments. They have to execute better. He said when we executed, we came up with 2 touchdowns. Different story on the defensive end. He is not happy at all about giving up 2 big plays. He said we just have to be more disciplined and play smarter on the defensive side of the ball, and that's what's out there right now. And guys down here on the field, it doesn't look like anyone's changing their foot gear. It still looks like cleats is the shoe of choice down here on this icy field.
Well, Eamon, I'm not sure what they could have gone to other than Bowers. DeLon Carter tries to turn the corner and does. Carter into plus territory. Run out of bounds at the 45-yard line of Kansas State by Terrence Sweeney as we take a look at our game track brought to you by Nationwide. 102 rushing yards in the first half for Syracuse, almost equaled for the most part for Kansas State by Daniel Thomas. Syracuse very balanced offensively, Brian.
Well, and you look at the total yards, 242 yards for Syracuse. They come into the game averaging just a little bit over 300 for the game, so they're way ahead of schedule and performing well.
Another crease for Carter. Wrestled down at about the 35-yard line from behind after a gain of 11 more.
You know, the thing that I think DeLon Carter has the advantage with in this second half is the fact that he is 5'9", and he does have a short stride, and he's low to the ground and can keep his balance. On a field like this, it's very slippery. You don't want to have big striding guys. He's got quick feet, keeps him on the ground, allows him to make cuts without falling.
Carter finds some room again. Powers his way down to about the 30-yard line. Ran over Terrence Sweeney. Again, DeLon Carter came into today number 4 all-time in rushing history for Syracuse, but in the first half he moved past Larry Zonka for number 3 all-time. He's got 10 career 100-yard games, 1,000 yards rushing the last 2 years in a row, now up over 1,100 yards this year. And they go right back to him. Another first down for Carter inside the 25.
Well, DeLon Carter's starting to catch his rhythm, but so is the offensive line for Syracuse. Coming off the right guard and right tackle, Andrew Tiller, Michael Hay coming off the ball. There's no contact until DeLon Carter gets 4 or 5 yards downfield. I mean, this is impressive to come out second half, first drive, and strictly on the ground, move the ball.
Now it's Antoine Bailey's turn. He finds a cutback lane. Bailey's still on his feet all the way down to about the 11-yard line. Another first down for Syracuse. Tyson Hartman made the stop for Kansas State.
This is just big smash mouth football up front. You get this offensive line coming off the ball, and the adjustments that they made at halftime are starting to wear on this Kansas State defense, which we all know comes into this game 118th in the country.
And Carter again. To the 7. Again, it's Terrence Sweeney making the stop. And boy, it is nothing but secondary players making all the tackles on these Syracuse running backs for Kansas State.
You can imagine the pep talk at halftime from Doug Marrone, the former offensive line coach, to this offense and say, hey, I'm going to put this game on your shoulders. We're going to come out and strictly run the football in this first drive. It's on you. You're the ones that got to get it done, and they're doing it now.
Second down, Carter turns the corner. Touchdown, Syracuse. How easy was that?
Doug Marrone told us one of the first things he had to do at Syracuse to turn this program around is change the attitude. That was an attitude drive right there. Come out, play physical, and just take the will of your opponent.
7 straight carries between DeLon Carter and Antoine Bailey, covering 60 yards for Syracuse. Carter is now over 100 yards for the 11th time in his career, 8th rushing touchdown of the season, and the Orange has the lead back.
During the big game, you'll never miss any of the action with the Birkenfield QR76 binoculars. The QR76 features fluoride prism lenses, an ergonomic focus, and diopter controls, all of which you'll need because you didn't buy your tickets on StubHub. For 10 years, StubHub has been the place to find great tickets to sports, concerts, and more, even on the day of the event, and even if it's sold out. StubHub. Where do you want to sit?
Introducing the bigger, four-door, all-wheel drive Mini Countryman. On Blu-ray and DVD, whatever your holiday gift cards are worth.
$5, $100, $10,000.
Give yourself the perfect gift.
Plus shipping and handling. Even if I buy it here, it ships from somewhere else, and I've been handling it.
Own Dinner for Schmucks on Blu-ray and DVD this Tuesday.
Should I have all my policies with Nationwide Insurance? Bring in the parrots.
Home, auto, life.
You see, Jack, when your home, auto, and life insurance are with separate companies, they're just noisy, right? But when they work together... Beautiful. Nationwide Insurance can get your policies in sync and save you up to 25%. I didn't know they could sing like that. Hit it, fellas.
Nationwide is on your side.
Introducing the bigger, four-door, all-wheel drive Mini Countryman.
What you've gained as a student will be just as important to you as what you did as a player. As long as you know that you made the effort to do the best of which you're capable, there's no failure. Success on 3.
There are over 400,000 NCAA student athletes. And just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Well, the bowl schedule continues on New Year's Day across our ESPN family of networks. The Ticket City Bowl, Northwestern and Texas Tech begins it on ESPNU. Then the Outback Bowl with Florida and Penn State, Alabama and Michigan State, and the Capital One Bowl at 1 o'clock on ESPN. ESPN2 is next. Mississippi State taking on Michigan in the Progressive Gator Bowl. Then the Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio. Wisconsin at TCU at 5. And the nightcap, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. UConn, the first time ever in program history in a BCS game representing the Big East, taking on the Big 12 in Oklahoma. And we've got Big 12 Big East in the new era Pinstripe Bowl here at Yankee Stadium. A 7-point lead for Syracuse over Kansas State. The first drive of the third quarter, an attitude drive for Syracuse as they march the ball right down the field with 7 straight run plays. And now to about the 35-yard line comes the return for Kansas State as we look at DeLon Carter and the work he did a moment ago.
Yeah, DeLon Carter, but the offensive line up front, the blocking by the tight ends, Adam Harris, the fullback. This offense took it to the defense from Kansas State, but this is nothing new for Kansas State. They've 5 out of the last 6 games, they've given up over 200 yards rushing, and teams are averaging 6 yards a carry against Kansas State defense, and tonight has been no different. Syracuse now averaging 5.8 times every time they rush the football.
DeLon Carter looks pretty impressed with himself. You can see the reaction on his face. He's watching the big screen behind what would be center field here at Yankee Stadium. Saw a couple of his own highlights a moment ago, and I think he was impressed. 21-14, Syracuse has the lead. Kaufman back to throw. He looks for the home run for Harper. Knocked away. Great coverage by Damon Merkerson, step for step with Chris Harper.
Well, very similar to Syracuse with the flea flicker. They try to go hard play action and throw this over the top, and Harper had 2 steps on Merkerson. This ball's just underthrown. If that ball is out in front of Harper, it's a touchdown.
And there is an injured player. It looks like Merkerson came up lame over on the Syracuse sideline. Merkerson hurt himself celebrating.
Yeah, I think
he kicked his leg up so high he hurt himself. A celebration injury for Damon Merkerson. Well, Damone Merkerson played wide receiver and cornerback last year. He was buried on the depth chart at wide receiver. So 4 games into last season, he went to the coaches and asked to switch to the defensive backfield full time in the hopes that he'd move up the depth chart. This year he became a starter at corner. Great play to recover and knock the ball away from Chris Harper.
Those guys on the sideline won't give him any flack about that, will they?
We're in New York. It is the holiday season. He did his best Rockettes impersonation, and I think it might have been a little too enthusiastic.
His teammates going to be all over him.
2nd down and 10. Kaufman underneath finds Hilburn. And he's about 1.5 yards shy of the first down. Well, Bill Snyder in his 19th total season as the head coach at Kansas State. This, of course, is his 2nd stint. Kansas State was 0-26-1 in the 27 games before he was first hired. And from 1993 to 2003, he took them to 11 straight bowl games. They averaged 10 wins a year during those 11 years. He retired and then returned as head coach a couple of seasons ago. They went 6-6 last year, back in a bowl game this year for the first time since 2006. And his team on 3rd down tries to push across, and it looks like they did pick up a first down. And yes, it is indeed a first down for Kansas State. But without Bill Snyder, about 50 years of completely ineffective football at Kansas State. For 50 years, they averaged 3 wins a season. From '89 through 2005, and from 2009 till now, in the 19 years he's been the head coach, they've averaged nearly 8 wins a year. They've had 7 10-win seasons, and they normally end up in a bowl game.
And they had a chance a year ago to get to the Big 12 championship if they had beat Nebraska at the end of the year.
Hoffman on a cutback, close to midfield, brought down at about the 48. Hogue drove him back, along with Darrell Smith.
And Bill Snyder's formula is a little bit different than a lot of other people's formula. They have a lot of JUCO and transfers on this team. About half of their starters on offense and defense were either at junior college or at another Division I school and transferred to Kansas State. A lot of those guys come in, they have experience and can play early. What you lose is those 4-year leadership type players that become kind of a family. But he has had tremendous success through the years with that formula.
Kaufman just shy of the first down marker. A strike to Tannehill. About 1 yard shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Well, in all of the BCS conferences, there's only one of two. He's one of 2 active coaches that has at least 18 years or more at the same school, and Joe Paterno's the other. So nobody in the big Power 6 conferences other than Joe Paterno has been at a single school longer than Bill Snyder's been at Kansas State. 3rd down and 1. Kaufman cuts it back, got the first down. Well, so much attention on Daniel Thomas for that Syracuse defense, and Kaufman able to keep it for the first down.
Well, they had expecting 3rd and 1, maybe a quarterback sneak. They had both linebackers up in the middle, and Kaufman recognized that I'm not going to go there. I'm going to run the option on the outside. And he has the ability to check off at the line of scrimmage, or he'll look to the sideline, and the coaching staff will direct him which plays they want to run. But a good job by both the coaching staff and quarterback diagnosing that defense and calling the appropriate play for the first down.
Play action for Kaufman. Looks for the home run down the sideline. Has Hilburn all the way down to about the 11-yard line. And then Hilburn spiked the ball out of bounds. 1st and 10 at the 11. Adrian Hilburn.
Well, here's Shamarko Thomas. You freeze it right there. Watch him. He's going to come up. They're going to come across the field. Hard play action. And when he comes up, Kaufman comes up, he's wide open. Shamarko Thomas tries to react, but it's too late. That's what an effective running game will do. It affects the safeties and allows you to throw play action over the top.
Now in the pistol, with Thomas behind Kaufman. The best red zone touchdown percentage team in America back in the red zone. Thomas up the middle. Down to the 7-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 6 from the 7. Again, no team in America scores touchdowns more often inside the red zone than Kansas State, and they're 1 for 1 in this game.
You look on the flip side, though, this Syracuse defense has been outstanding in the red zone, only giving up touchdowns 47% of the time. They stiffen down here, and they do it with a combination of zone pressure and zone dropping, only rushing 3. 2nd down, here's a big down if you want to stop Kansas State from getting in the end zone.
Now Kaufman, the quarterback, is the wide receiver at the top of your screen, so Daniel Thomas lines up to take the direct snap. Runs right. Bounces off tacklers. Shut down at the 10-yard line. Darrell Smith grabbed him around the ankles. Good job by Bud Tribby and the rest of that defensive front for Syracuse to string the play out.
Yeah, and that was the play that they scored on in the first half. But Chandler Jones, the defensive end, 99, on his horse from a backside defensive end position, gets there and stops Daniel Thomas from getting to the edge.
So now it's 3rd down and 9 from the 10. 10th play of the drive for Kansas State.
It's a 3-man front. Looks like they're going to bring pressure from the field.
Play clock at 2. They get the snap off. Kaufman looks end zone. Caught back in the end zone for a touchdown. Chris Harper with the sliding grab. What a throw by Carson Kaufman. And Kansas State a point away from tying the game.
Wow, they brought the blitz off the edge, and Mike Holmes, 35, was in perfect position, just didn't find the football and allowed the ball to go right behind him. A confident throw from Carson Kaufman, and Harper and Hilbert on the back end, with a great catch.
4th touchdown catch of the season for Chris Harper. The Oregon transfer. Able to grab it right up against the back end zone chalk, and we are now tied at 21 as Kansas State and Syracuse answering each other back and forth here in the New Era Pinstripe Bowl.
Welcome on board, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to thank you for traveling with us. For your convenience, you can find 4 exits, 2 at the front and 2 at the back. Enjoy your drive and have a nice day.
Introducing the bigger 4-door Mini Countryman.
From Pelham Bay to the same place the Yanks play. City Island or Marina Del Rey. 2 train, 4 train, headed uptown. 5 train, 6 train, yeah, we Bronx bound. Shop on Fordham, jog to Van Cortlandt. Around the reservoir, check the repertoire. BX the borough, do it so thorough. Go hard or go home, never play subtle. We put a stamp, and so we are the champs. That means first place, hip-hop birthplace. P-ville, never ran, never will. I'm from the Bronx, so I'm repping for my mom.
At American Signature Furniture this New Year's Day, we're having our biggest sale ever. Friday and Saturday for only 19 hours, we're marking down prices. Up to 70% savings throughout the store. Save on hundreds of living rooms, like this 2-piece microfiber sectional, found elsewhere for over $1,000. Buy now and you can have it for only $4.99. And for 19 hours, we'll even include a free ottoman. That's right, all 3 pieces for just $4.99 while they last. Plus, buy now and pay no interest for 12 months with no down payment. Don't miss the biggest New Year's Day sale ever at American Signature Furniture.
If you want more car for less payment, you can turn to Duval Mazda. Right now during Duval Mazda's year-end Mazda move-out, brand new 2011 Mazda 6i Sports, only $17,990. Plus 0% financing is available. Hurry to Duval Mazda on the avenues and test drive a Mazda today.
With a mix of on-air, online, and on-demand, Comcast Spotlight can target customers wherever they are. To make your presence felt, call or visit us online.
$19.99. Call 1-800-811-2946 or go to twindraftguard.com.
ESPN College Football, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, is brought to you by New Era. Fly your own flag. Visit us at neweracap.com. The all-new, bigger, 4-door, all-wheel drive Mini Countryman. And the Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet?
George M. Steinbrenner, longtime owner of the New York Yankees, the latest addition of Monument Park this past year. And he was also an assistant football coach at Purdue and Northwestern, a terrific college football player, and a big reason why there is football now at Yankee Stadium. It was his vision that when they built the new Yankee Stadium, it would be built with the specs to host what he loved as much, if not more, than baseball, and that was college football. And the New Era Pinstripe Bowl is here at Yankee Stadium for no greater reason than the passion for football of George Steinbrenner.
Oh, it's such a great place for the week for both of these teams to spend the week in Manhattan. They've been all over town, and despite the snowstorm, they've had a wonderful week.
Short kick down to Tyson Gully at the 15-yard line. And Prince Tyson Gully out to about the 36 before he's brought down, and we go back to the touchdown.
A huge touchdown throw, and it brought the blitz. Both Syracuse came off the edge on third down, and Carson Kaufman decides to throw this football to Harp. Now look at the double coverage here. Mike Holmes right here is in great position. They're ready to throw the football. There's nowhere to put it. That takes a lot of confidence in your receiver to throw that ball on the back end line in double coverage, and Harper finds a way to locate that ball and come down with it.
Lon Carter up the middle for about 4 yards. So Syracuse with their second offensive possession here in the second half. They have yet to throw the ball in the second half. Their last drive, a touchdown drive to open the third quarter, 7 straight runs for 60 yards. They marched right down the field.
I wouldn't be surprised if Doug Marrone, Nathan Hackett decide here in second down or first down in this drive to go up top again off of play action, because they have been able to run the ball so successfully. Look for Sales over the top.
Sales at the bottom of your screen, number 5 in blue. He's got 2 touchdown catches today.
Both safeties within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Nassib looks away from Sales, tipped ball at the line, and it falls incomplete. Like Raphael Guidry got up and knocked it down as we take a look at today's storyline, brought to you by Mobile One. Big day for Sales so far. He has 3 total catches for over 100 yards, and both of his touchdown catches have been big plays. But a moment ago, another big play made by a wide receiver, and that was Chris Harper, who slid in the back of the end zone to make the touchdown grab on third down to tie the game at 21. Third down now for Syracuse. Nassib, well protected, swings it to Bailey. Bailey up the sideline. Runs a man over and has a first down in plus territory. Well, Terrence Sweeney took a hit from Antoine Bailey.
Antoine Bailey is Mr. Third Down. He's in there in the backfield for protection and for this, his receiving ability, the speed to outrun Rebeck, and then the power to run over Sweeney. Antoine Bailey is the heir apparent to DeLon Carter. Next year, they want to find out whether he's a big enough player at 5'8", 192 pounds to take the load in the running game.
With a pump fake to the right, comes back to the left, has a wide open receiver in Alec Lemon. And Lemon to the 30-yard line before he goes out of bounds. It's another Syracuse first down. Emmanuel Lemur ran him out after a gain of 16.
Everybody talks about game management at the quarterback position. A lot of times it's a derogatory term, but right now Ryan Nassib is managing this game perfection. That time they had a double move called to Sales on the outside and a slant and go. It wasn't there. He didn't panic, came back to his check down for a 10-yard gain on first down. That's what playing quarterback's all about.
Bailey runs to the strong side. Picks up 3, maybe 4 yards, down close to the 27-yard line. Raphael Guidry again was there to make the stop for Kansas State. Antoine Bailey, according to Doug Marrone, is exactly the type of compliment that this team would want to DeLon Carter. I remember asking him earlier this season, we had their game against West Virginia, about Bailey, and he said, you know, when you have 2 backs, you don't want the same style. You want the great compliment, and he's a guy that can run a very varied route tree and gives you the perfect alternative to DeLon Carter. Wide open, Jose Cruz. And the tight end pays the price at the 21-yard line, comes up a yard shy of a first down. David Garrett came up And laid a hit on Jose Cruz, came away with the football. Cruz down by contact and still down here at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, Ty Zimmerman came up from his safety position as well and caught Cruz right on the thigh pad. It looked like he caught his foot was still stuck in the ground, and the knee hyperextended backwards.
We'll step aside while Jose Cruz is looked at. Game tied at 21.
This aisle isn't big enough for 2 zeros.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Is that all you got?
I'm up to my knees in 0 calories. Pepsi to the max, so let's drink all of these. Snoop! Pepsi Max. Too much taste to be called a zero.
Thanks to the venture card from Capital One, we get double miles on every purchase, so we earned a trip to New Orleans twice as fast. We get double miles every time we use our card. No matter what we're buying. I'll take it. And since double miles add up fast, we can bring the whole gang. Fire! It's hard to beat double miles.
Have you seen cards?
Oh! Get the Venture Card from Capital One. Money Magazine's best rewards card if you aim to rack up airline miles.
What's in your wallet?
It's time for the Bud Light Playbook. Today, how to avoid a costly fumble.
Yeah, well, I blew out my knee. Nice save. I use that sticky stuff that receivers used to use. Now I'll never drop my Bud Light. Here we go.
I just got this new car.
Hey, man.
Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
The head ball coach leads the Gamecocks against his old rivals, Florida State. Capital One Bowl Week continues with the Chick-fil-A Bowl, South Carolina, Florida State, Friday at 7:30 on ESPN. College football lives here.
ESPN The Weekend, March 3rd through the 6th. Visit ESPNTheWeekend.com.
Jose Cruz got off the field for Syracuse, 85 in blue, and was able to shake off the knee injury. The big tight end hurt as we went away. A young man that transferred from Hofstra after their program was folded, so he was able to play immediately at Syracuse. And that last reception set up Syracuse 3rd down and a long one, close to 2. Inside of the last 4 minutes of the 3rd quarter. They'll run it with Carter. He moves the pile, and he's got a Syracuse 1st down. So Syracuse is back in the red zone, looking to go back on top once again.
And Doug Marrone is halfway in between the numbers and the sideline, yelling at his offensive line, talking about this is their time. I think he made a concerted effort at halftime with his team on offense specifically to put this game in their hands and say this offensive line has got to come off the ball, move people, control time of possession, and protect their defense. And that's exactly what they've done.
Carter to about the 15-yard line. 5 more yards for DeLon Carter. Alex Rebeck there to make the stop. Well, as good as Kansas State is at converting possessions in the red zone into touchdowns, Syracuse at times has struggled this year. Only 50%, not in the top 100 in FBS. But so far today they're 1 for 1. And the way they're running the football,
that's the key. That's the key in the red zone. You got to be able to run the ball. And that's why Kansas State has been so successful. And I expect to see a heavy dose of DeLon Carter down here inside the 15.
And marched right down in the opening possession of the 3rd quarter. And here they are again, 2nd down and 6 at the 15. Back to DeLon Carter. He's at the 10. 5, touchdown.
The right play call ball at the right time. Kansas State decides to blitz off the weak side with David Garrett. They make the check at the line of scrimmage from the quarterback into the perfect play against it to run away. Big, big touchdown for Syracuse.
So Syracuse is back on top. 15-yard touchdown run for DeLon Carter. He's got 2 touchdown runs to open up the third quarter. Ross Krautman hooked the extra point. No good. So Syracuse leaves a point on the field with 2:11 to go in the third quarter.
Well, it looked like the snap was a little bit away from the holder, Charlie Loeb, and he struggled to get that ball down, and then he got it down. The laces were turned the wrong way, and you'll see that the snap is away from Loeb and low. It's hard to get, and he does a nice job of catching and getting it down, and then the laces were backwards, and Krautman just hooked it. We'd like to think on an extra point that Krautman could get his composure there and still kick that through, even though the laces were backwards. But you go back and look at the touchdown, you're going to see off of this side there's a blitz from Garrett. You blitz one side, the other side has to drop, and that creates the soft edge, and you want to run right at that edge, and that's what they did. A good block by Cruz, who came back into this game, springs DeLon Carter for the big touchdown.
So Kansas State about to get the football back as special teams puts us back on odd numbers now, as Syracuse only able to score 6. A short kick. This will come down at about the 32-yard line. So Syracuse with the pooch kick gives up the 42. Lucas Ham, the fullback, returns it with 2:05 to go in the third. Capital One Bowl week continues tonight. It's Jake Locker and Washington. They get another shot at 18th ranked Nebraska, led by Taylor Martinez. The Bridgepoint Education Holiday Bowl. Capital One Bowl week on ESPN later on tonight at 10 Eastern. Also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. Well, Kansas State has a long snapper in Corey Adams that coming into today had gone 475 consecutive long snaps without an errant snap. And you can see how much special teams means. Only a 6-point game, a little floating pass, and Tannehill couldn't haul it in. He was wide open, and Kaufman led him just a bit too far.
They had the play that they wanted. They had a naked, and you see Bill Snyder's look of frustration on the sideline. They had it. They ran one to the flat, and Tannehill leaked out late. That ball was definitely catchable. He could have got 2 hands on the ball, but a missed opportunity for Kansas State.
Kansas State changes the play. Play clock at 4. Kaufman flips it to a wide open Thomas. Dancing his way down the sideline goes Daniel Thomas, close to a Kansas State first down. Out of bounds about 2 yards shy. It'll be third down and short.
Watching Daniel Thomas on film, I was very impressed with his agility. He's a big guy, 6'2", 230 pounds, but he was a former quarterback. He's only played the halfback position for 2 years here at Kansas State, but he is able to stop and start as well as anybody in the country for a guy his size.
Quarterback draw on third down, and Kaufman has the first down.
You see Kansas State taking a lot of time at the line of scrimmage trying to diagnose what Syracuse is doing defensively. We were talking with Bill Snyder today, this week about how this Syracuse defense works. He says, you know, you wear yourself out watching all these blitzes on tape trying to prepare, and he said that he's going to use his coaching staff a lot tonight to diagnose what's going on and then communicate what play they want to get into to Carson Kaufman, and it's been working well for him. Here they are doing it again.
This time Daniel Thomas takes the direct snap. He wants to throw. The throw back to the quarterback, Kaufman. Carson Kaufman all the way down to the 16-yard line. Another trick play. And this time it works perfectly for Kansas State.
And they only wanted to run this against one coverage, too deep, no blitz. You're going to see Kaufman come out of the backfield, off of the fake. Thomas rolls out and then comes back to him, wide open, nobody left. But at the line of scrimmage, this play was made by the check, making sure that there was no blitz and running it against the perfect defense.
Kansas State back in the red zone. Remember, they could take the lead with this possession after the Syracuse missed extra point. Kaufman on the keeper. Down to about the 10-yard line, and that will take us to the end of the third quarter. So we head to the fourth quarter in the inaugural New Era Pinstripe Bowl here in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. A one-score lead for Syracuse, but Kansas State on the move.
The 2011 Rose Bowl game, New Year's Day on ESPN.
When I'm working with Benjamin Moore, I feel unrestricted. Wherever I need a little light, a little life, a little jazz, I feel that I have a rainbow at my fingertips, and there's no limitation to what I can create of a room.
Create your own design with Ben. It's eco-friendly and comes in every Benjamin Moore color, making fabulous style easy and affordable. And it's only available at your Benjamin Moore retailer, not at the big box stores. Capture any color and find its perfect match with the Ben Color Capture iPhone app. Download it today.
Introducing the bigger four-door all-wheel drive Mini Countryman.
I don't want to get up. I don't want to go to work. I hate mornings. Great, I have 20 minutes. No time for coffee. Hello, my friend.
Can't get it together in the morning? Try 5-Hour Energy. It's simple, effective, and unlike coffee, it's ready right now. No waiting, no hassle.
Let's do this.
5-Hour Energy, the no-wait, no-hassle way to a great morning.
Welcome on board, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to thank you for traveling with us. For your convenience, you can find 4 exits, 2 at the front and 2 at the back. Enjoy your drive and have a nice day.
Introducing the bigger four-door Mini Countryman.
Let's go! Let's go! Touchdown, Julio Jones.
Parker fires, going to the end zone. Touchdown!
Touchdown, Tigers! 90 of the most coveted gridiron recruits clash as we showcase the future of college football. The 2011 Under Armour.
Have you heard what's going down at Golden Isles Nissan? Prices, man. Sales are up because the price is down. I mean, way down. Altima, Maxima, Titan, Cube, even the new Juke. No down or a very low down payment. Click GoldenIslesNissan.com or come to 231 Chapel Crossing, just off Golden Isles Parkway in Brunswick, baby. Prices are down, payments are down. Now you need to come on down and see me under the tree. I'm down with that.
Hi, may I help you?
Yes, I hear Progressive has lots of discounts on car insurance. Can I get in on that?
Are you a safe driver?
Yes.
Discount. Do you own a home?
Yes.
Discount. Are you gonna buy online?
Yes.
Discount. Isn't getting discounts great?
Yes.
There's no discount for agreeing with me.
Yeah, I got carried away.
It happens to me all the time.
Helping you save money. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
301-1988. 1-800-301-1988.
A terrific, unique venue for Capital One Bowl Week, continuing the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, Kansas State and Syracuse, here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. We start the fourth quarter. 2nd and 4 for Kansas State at the 10-yard line, trailing Syracuse by 6. Daniel Thomas, the I-back, already has a couple of touchdown runs today. Instead, it's the fullback Wilson. And he is brought down just inside the 10 at about the 8. Chandler Jones there to make the stop. Chandler Jones, the younger brother of a terrific defensive end for Syracuse, Arthur Jones, who's now with the Ravens in the NFL.
Great play there by Chandler Jones. He just came in on a stunt, on a pirate, which is a stunt to the inside towards the football, and made a big play. Otherwise, that play would have gone for good yardage.
Big 3rd down and 3 for Kansas State. They go to Daniel Thomas. He stood up, shy of the first down. Now a decision for Bill Snyder in Kansas State. 4th down and about 1.5 yards, just outside the 5. A field goal would cut the lead in half, but it is a skating rink out there. The kicking game from any distance would be an adventure. What do you do?
Yeah, both these teams have run the ball very well tonight. I think you go keep this ball on the ground with Daniel Thomas, maybe out of the Wildcat, and allow him to make the read offensively to get the first down.
Kansas State this year 10 for 16 on 4th down, and they're going for it. And they have to call timeout with the play clock winding down.
Now the play clock was at 2. They had to call that timeout. One thing, when you get down inside the red zone, it's hard for the quarterback to look all the way back to the sideline to get the play from the coaches. So when you get down in those areas, the offensive strategy in trying to get the plays from the sideline doesn't work as well, just because of the geography of the field and being farther away.
Well, that is the way the Kansas State operates. They come up, kind of a dummy snap count for a moment, and then Kaufman looks over at the sideline. I would think, though, somewhat of an advantage at times for the defense. You might tip your hand a bit. Having said that, though, with the play clock winding down, you know the snap's coming. And with 5 seconds on the play clock, if you're a defensive lineman, you probably have a little chance to get the head start.
And defenses know that.
All right, so after the timeout, where do you go on 4th down and 1.5 yards?
I think it's the same thing. You've got to give the ball to your best player, and your best player is Daniel Thomas, your halfback.
Hard snap count from Kaufman. Will they snap the ball? Kaufman will throw for it to the outside. A diving catch made for the first down, and again, it's Chris Harper making the pressure grab.
These are the kinds of throws that quarterbacks have to make, and the types of catches. Now we've seen Harper go down and get 2 big plays for Carson Kaufman, the touchdown, and then here on 4th down to convert and give him a fresh set of downs at the 5-yard line.
This is where Kansas State does their best work, in the red zone. 1st and goal. Thomas up the middle. The pile moves to the 1. Still on his feet. And finally stood up just shy of the goal line. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 1-yard line.
We have seen 2 great efforts by 2 great running backs right here. Watch the power, the determination from Daniel Thomas, continuing to push. His offensive lineman helping him. He does not want to go down, and you think these guys don't want to win this football game. Both of these teams have given tremendous effort tonight.
2nd and goal. Ham almost slips going in motion. Thomas again. He bounces down just shy of the goal line at about the 1-foot line. He will be marked short.
Well, the fullback, Braden Wilson, came up in the middle, and Marcus Sproul, the linebacker, got into him in the backfield, which made Daniel Thomas have to sidestep. If he would have been able to keep his feet, he would have walked into the end zone. But credit Marcus Sproul with taking the fullback on head on and stopping Thomas in that last play.
3rd down and goal, about 6 inches shy of the goal line. Quarterback sneak. Did Kaufman get there? Syracuse thinks they got the stop, and they did. It'll be 4th and goal, about a foot shy of the goal line.
Tried to go over the top, and Darrell Smith, number 25, the middle linebacker, 5th-year senior and leader of this defense, comes flying over the top with a huge stop. Brings up another big 4th down for Kansas State.
Syracuse claiming Kansas State flinched. Instead, they run the option. The pitch. Getting inside the pylon is Daniel Thomas for the touchdown. 2 fourth-down conversions on that drive. 1 for the score for Kansas State. They've got it tied and a chance to take the lead.
Well, they tried the power game, tried to power it into the end zone, and Syracuse was up to the task. So Kansas State calls the audible and goes perimeter with the option, and Thomas gets the walk-in for an opportunity here with a made extra point to take the lead.
3rd rushing touchdown of the day for Daniel Thomas. He's up to 19 on the season. Cherry now to give Kansas State the lead. High snap. Cherry able to put it through. A flag down.
Well, you tried to jinx that snapper, didn't you? You almost got him.
You see 42 there. That's Corey Adams. He's the long snapper for Kansas State. And it looks like it's offsides against Syracuse. Obviously, Bill Snyder's not going to take the point off the board now.
You did your best to give him the hex.
It was the ultimate announcer jinx possibility. There was a big article about Corey Adams and all the stuff that Kansas State sent us. He's the long snapper. He's a senior, and he is about as admired a player on that Kansas State team. He came into today with 475 straight snaps.
Defense, number 39. That penalty's declined. Result of the play is a 1-point kick.
And he had never had an errant snap before, including today. So now he's over 480 career snaps. That one almost got away from him. It's the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Bob Wischusen and Brian Greasy, Eamon McEnany here in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. We have gone back and forth, even here in the second half after a 14-14 tie at halftime. Syracuse took over, first drive in the 3rd quarter. 7 straight running plays. DeLon Carter, captain with a touchdown run. Then a diving catch made by Chris Harper in the back of the end zone to tie it at 21. Syracuse came right back. Another touchdown run by DeLon Carter. But with an errant snap for Syracuse, Ross Krautman hooked the extra point, so it was only a 6-point trip for the Cuse. That meant Kansas State, with their touchdown and an extra point converted, puts them back on top, 28-27, with 11:03 to go in the 4th quarter.
Well, the last 4 drives for both teams have resulted in touchdowns, and now back to Syracuse, their opportunity to try to get back on top.
Short kick down to Tyson Gully at about the 14-yard line. Broke 1 tackle, but couldn't get free at the 27-yard line. So Syracuse will take over. Carson Kaufman has had a good day. Daniel Thomas has had the best day for Kansas State. Kaufman with a big touchdown pass to Chris Harper, helped out by 3 more touchdown runs for the second-team All-Big 12 running back Daniel Thomas. That's the 28 points for Kansas State. For Syracuse, they've gotten a pair of touchdowns from Carter, a pair of touchdown catches from Marcus Sales, the junior, one on a flea flicker that tied the game at 7 back in the 1st quarter, but the first missed extra point this season by Ross Krautman. And as a result, it's a 1-point lead for Kansas State. DeLon Carter stood up behind the line. He might have lost a yard as we head back to the studio and Wendy.
Bob, thank you. Coming up, on deck, I should say, Butch Davis and his UNC Tar Heels rounding out a difficult season, one that started out with those suspensions. The Tar Heels will face Tennessee. That's coming up next in the Music City Bowl right here on ESPN.
All right, Wendy, we've got 10.5 minutes left of what has been a terrific football game. Boy, if the New Era Pinstripe Bowl is this good every year, we'll have good crowds every December here in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. 1-point lead for Kansas State. Play action for Nassib. To the sideline. Low throw, knocked away. Dorian Graham tried to scoop it up. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Well, which defense is going to make a stop? The last 4 drives, touchdown drives. One of these defenses has got to make a stop, and Kansas State has made some adjustment now. Another naked, which has been very successful for Syracuse all night long. They cover the first receiver, second receiver. Nassib has to go to the 3rd option, and an errant throw brings up a 3rd and 10.
And Mr. 3rd down, number 29, Antoine Bailey, is the widest man at the top of your screen. Nassib instead over the middle, and he's got his main target today in Marcus Sales. A strike for a first down to the 46.
The composure in the pocket for Ryan Nassib to stand in there with good protection. Sales with a good route. He runs an in route on the backside. The exact route you want to run against a two-deep defense there, and an accurate ball. It's not easy to catch. When it's cold out, that ball gets slick. It's not easy to throw it, and it's not easy to catch it. Well done there by the quarterback and receiver.
Syracuse runs to that two tight end side again with DeLon Carter. And that's good yardage on first down, a gain of 5.
Well, it's got to be frustrating for Coach Bill Snyder. You know, you play well on first and second down. You get into a third and long situation where the odds are that the defense is going to win, and then you allow a guy to go downfield and get open behind your linebackers, and you don't get the kind of pressure you need on the quarterback. Now you're back on your heels again.
Toss to the outside to Carter. It'll be another third down for Syracuse. Third down and 3 coming up. Well, for Bill Snyder, it's got to be frustrating watching this defense all season long. They were 106th in the country in total yards, 118th against the run, and opponent's third down conversion percentage this year, 44%. So this isn't the first time he's had that expression on his face.
No, and you know, Syracuse now is pushing 400 yards of total offense in this game. So it's been a little bit more of the same inconsistency from Kansas State on defense.
Bailey on 3rd and 3 uses quickness, gets right to the first down marker, and it looks to be another Syracuse first down.
That just shows you the confidence that Doug Marrone has in Antoine Bailey. Fourth quarter, down by 1, 3rd and 3 situation. You would think it's a passing down. What does he do? He turns and hands the ball to Antoine Bailey to the weak side with no lead blocker. That's confidence in your halfback that he's going to make a guy miss and get a first down for your ball club.
For Nassib, looks for the home run for Sales again. He's wide open. Touchdown Syracuse. Makes it a 5-point game, and Syracuse will line up to go for 2 and see if they can get the point back that they lost when Ross Krautman missed the point after a moment ago. But it's the 3rd big touchdown catch by Marcus Sales.
This has turned into a heavyweight fight here, blow after blow. The last 5 drives, touchdown drives, and the play action call on first down, wide open Marcus Sales.
Syracuse runs Bailey in late from the sideline, 15 on the play clock. Trying to stretch the lead back to 7. A little lob into the end zone, broken up. Quick slant to Alec Lemon. So Syracuse still has the lead, but now it's only a 5-point advantage with 7:53 to go. What a day, though, it's been for the junior, Marcus Sales.
Ty Zimmerman had a chance here, but fell down. That's why Sales was so wide open. Ryan Nassib has been on the point all night.
Meet me by the sea again, past the point the shoreline bends, where the sand is soft and warm and hangs upon your golden arm, and time won't move at all.
Your favorite food's fighting you? Fight back fast with Tums. Calcium-rich Tums goes to work in seconds. Nothing works faster. Tums.
TV, you can start watching in one room, pause, and continue watching in any other room. Don't just watch TV, Direct TV.
So, during Sign Then Drive, I can get a CC for just my signature.
That's right. Right now, you can take home a Volkswagen for just your signature. Like the CC or the Tiguan.
Huh.
Yeah. Plus, every VW includes scheduled carefree maintenance.
Really? That's great.
There you go.
Oh, that guy's pretty good, too.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's amazing what you can do with a pen. Sign Then Drive is back. For a limited time, get any 2011 Volkswagen for practically just your signature.
Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. Let's take a look at the touchdown. Here's Marcus Sales. He's just going to come up the field. You let it run here, and we'll watch the safety who bites on the naked right here. Stop it. Normally, this route would go like this on a naked, and Zimmerman tries to undercut. The problem is it's a double move, and Sales goes over the top, and that's why Zimmerman falls down, and Marcus Sales is wide open. His third big play in this football game.
Who'll flinch first? That's the question here at the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. A big day for Marcus Sales, a big day for Ryan Nassib as well. 3 times those two have hooked up, and all 3 times it's been a big touchdown play. And now Kansas State will get the football back, down by only 5 though. 2 touchdowns ago, Troutman missed the point after, and so Syracuse also missed an opportunity going for 2 just now. And again, the pooch kick comes up short of about the 30-yard line. So good field position for Kansas State. Another look at the touchdown and Marcus Sales.
Marcus Sales only had 5 catches in the first 9 games of the season. Now he's on fire, and he's connected with Ryan Nassib.
From Pelham Bay to the same place the Yanks play. City Island on Marina Del Rey. 2 train, 4 train, headed uptown. 5 train, 6 train, yeah, we Bronx bound. Shop on Fordham, jaws to Van Cortlandt. Around the reservoir, check the repertoire. BX the borough, do it so thorough. Go hard or go home, never play subtle. We put a stamp, and so we are the champs. That means first place, hip-hop birthplace. P-Ville, never ran, never will. I'm from the Bronx, so I'm repping for my mom.
This new Jetta is awesome. Yeah. Right now during Sign Then Drive, you can take home a Volkswagen for just your signature. Really? That's great. Yeah. Plus it includes scheduled carefree maintenance. Huh. Light screen. There you go. Oh, you need a pen. I had one here for just a second ago. Who would take my pen?
It's amazing what you can do with a pen. Sign Then Drive is back. For a limited time, get any 2011 Volkswagen for practically just your signature.
USA Prime Credit, tell Peggy your problem.
Hey, Peggy, I got 5 dadgum charges here for Miss Priss's Cat Emporium.
Dadgum?
Now, Peggy, tell me, does I sound like a man who'd have 5 dadgum charges at a Miss Priss's Cat Emporium?
You break up, call back next week.
I'm not too old to find you, son.
Want better customer service? Switch to Discover. Ranked #1 in customer loyalty. It pays to Discover.
It's game time, where you either go big or go home. The challenge, you've only got $5. Well, get ready. Hunger's about to get its bell rung. Taco Bell's Touchdown $5 Box. Get a loaded beefy crunch burrito, the legendary Crunch Wrap Supreme, classic crunchy taco, crispy cinnamon twists, and an ice cold medium soda. The Touchdown $5 Box. It's $5 and it's good. Only at Taco Bell.
Well, the boys of summer should be out there, except it's holiday season, so it's the gridiron of the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Take me out to the ball game still applies, and what a terrific ball game we have had. 5-point lead for Syracuse. 5 total possessions between the two teams here in the second half. All 5 drives have resulted in touchdowns. Let's see if Kansas State can answer. Flea flicker for Kansas State. Kaufman goes deep for Quarles. Underthrown, and he still makes the adjustment and the catch at the 16-yard line. I'll see your flea flicker and raise you one.
Well, a lot of big plays, play action. Syracuse had the perfect play call. They had a corner blitz, but Mike Holmes falls down, and then a short throw again. One of these defensive players has got to make a play in this game, and whichever one does, their team is going to win. But that time, Philip Thomas doesn't get his eyes around. Shamarko Thomas doesn't either. Another big play.
Syracuse's flea flicker in the first half was good for a touchdown. Belly option, and the give to Thomas. Thomas down to about the 15-yard line for a gain of a couple. Mikhail Marinovich is there to make the stop. Kansas State's flea flicker puts them back in the red zone, and for K-State, for the most part, putting them in the red zone is as good as scoring a touchdown.
Yeah. And I really think, Bob, that the conditions, the field, you're starting to see in this second half specifically that defenses are at such a disadvantage because they don't know where the football's going, and they're the ones that have to cut and plant more so than offensive players, and it's resulted in 5 touchdown drives in the second half.
And off to Thomas, runs left. It's down to about the 10-yard line. Tripped up by Darrell Smith. It will be 3rd down and 4 from the 10. And to give you some perspective, that football right now is placed almost exactly where Robinson Cano spends most of the summer. They are heading right towards the home plate end zone. And the ball is right about between first and second base. 3rd down and 4 at the 10. Slipping and falling, broken play. Thomas went down. Flipping it is Kaufman, and Tannehill comes up with the football at the 11-yard line. What a play by Kaufman, just to get it away and try and make a play. He wanted to give it to Daniel Thomas, but on the skating rink that is the field here at Yankee Stadium, Thomas went down.
Well, I actually think it was a naked, Bob. It was designed naked because Tannehill blocked down and then released to the flat. I don't think they intended to give it to Thomas. It's just he fell down. Thankfully, they had the naked called and not the run.
On 4th down and 5 after the broken play, with Daniel Thomas limping off, Kansas State will try a field goal. Josh Cherry's 0 for 1 today. He was 7 of 8 coming into today. 28-yard attempt. It's a fake. And it'll be shut down by Syracuse. Ryan Dorr, the punter, and the holder on the fake tried to run right, and Syracuse gave him no room. And for the first time in the second half, a defense gets a stop, and Kansas State turns it over on downs.
Wow, a gutsy call by Bill Snyder. I don't think I agree with it. Down 5, you kick a field goal there, and you're only down 2 with plenty of time left in this game. But the fake, and credit Marcus Sproul, the linebacker for Syracuse, was not fooled. He was right there in the middle of it to stop that attempt, and Doug Marrone has got to love that.
Now, was it me, or did Dorr do nothing to sell the fake? I mean, he took the snap and just stood right up and ran right into the line. I would think that Bill Snyder thought his holder might do a little more to sell the fake. As Syracuse goes back to the ground. There goes DeLon Carter. All the way down to the 25-yard line of Kansas State.
Look at Ty Zimmerman, number 12. The safety gets caught up inside. That's his responsibility. He's the last line of defense. And DeLon Carter breaks free, and he's a big man to bring down from behind. But the blocking up front by this offensive line for Syracuse has been outstanding all night long. And DeLon Carter has taken his toll on this defense. And Doug Marrone is excited.
195 yards rushing for DeLon Carter after a 61-yard scamper there, and Nassib has to call timeout with the play clock down to 3. So Syracuse with all the momentum, up 5 with 4:10 to go here at Yankee Stadium.
The 2011 Rose Bowl game, New Year's Day on ESPN.
So during Sign Then Drive, I can get a CC for just my signature.
That's right. Right now, you can take home a Volkswagen for just your signature, like the CC or the Tiguan.
Huh.
Yeah. Plus, every VW includes scheduled carefree maintenance.
Really? That's great.
There you go.
Oh, that guy's pretty good too.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's amazing what you can do with a pen. Sign Then Drive is back. For a limited time, get any 2011 Volkswagen for practically just your signature.
Excuse me. Change. It's nice to know you can trust people. State Farm is counting on it. They want you to talk to your neighbors, then call a State Farm agent, find out how you can get discounts up to 40%. See, State Farm insures 40 million drivers. That's more than Geico and Progressive combined. 40 million drivers, more savings, and discount.
Xfinity presents.
Range? 175 meters. Targets? 1. Can you do it? Someone tracked me down.
The American.
I once said greed is good. Now it seems it's legal. Why'd you do it? It's about the game. He's after us.
Wall Street, money never sleeps. Watch the latest movies. Find them here in your on-demand menu. Watch anytime with Xfinity from Comcast.
From your favorite floats to the best high school bands in the nation, you don't want to miss the 2010 Hometown Gator Bowl Parade. Watch the 2010 Hometown Gator Bowl Parade January 1st at 12 noon on Comcast Cable Channel 29 and starting January 7th on demand. Don't miss it.
435-4177. That's 1-800-435-4177.
ESPN College Football, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, is brought to you by New Era. Fly your own flag. Visit us at neweracap.com. The Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event, where you can drive away in a VW for practically just your signature. And Discover. It pays to discover. Official card of the Bowl Championship Series.
Well, in honor of Syracuse and Kansas State coming to the big city this week, the Empire State Building lit up orange and purple for the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. And what a game it's been between the Orange and the Wildcats. And right now Syracuse with 4:10 to go, up by 5 down to the 25-yard line of Kansas State after a 61-yard run by DeLon Carter. Back to Carter again. Down to the 22-yard line. A moment ago, a big change of momentum. A 28-yard field goal attempt faked by Kansas State. Door, the holder, went nowhere. And Brian Greasy, you very quickly second-guessed that decision.
Yeah, well, I just, if it was 4th and 1, maybe, but it was 4th down and 5. There's 5 minutes left in the game. You're down by 5 points. You kick a field goal there. You're down 2. You still have 2 timeouts left, and you get 1 stop on defense. I know you haven't stopped them yet in the second half, but you got to believe that you can get a stop and then go down and kick a game-winning field goal. I don't know that I would have done that.
Syracuse working on the clock. 5 seconds on the play clock. Under 3.5 minutes to go. Carter met in the backfield and brought down at about the 22-yard line. You wonder if Kansas State might use a timeout now. And it looks like Bill Snyder will spend his second timeout with 3:17 remaining. Now remember, now is a big 3rd down here. If his defense can finally get a stop, even if you force a field goal, it's still only a 1-possession game. Syracuse missed an extra point and a 2-pointer. So a field goal would only make it 8. We'll step aside.
Make the most of your day with a freshly brewed cup of America's favorite coffee. Made from only the finest beans, Dunkin' Donuts is the place to go for coffee that's served just the way you like it. Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Get your coffee from the folks that know coffee inside and out. For over 60 years, we've kept America running with our dedication to serving the freshest cup of coffee. Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'.
H&R Block is doing a second look at our taxes. So someone was in here this morning and left us some flyers. I own a quilt store. I don't like doing taxes. Numbers aren't my kind of thing. I'm really a people person.
You're going to carry an inventory. You're going to have miles.
There was a lot that I'd guessed at, and I have a feeling I guessed wrong.
Are you ready? I think she's ready.
Oh my gosh! It's 5,300.
H&R Block. Never settle for less.
Receptions jumping, bases pumping. Look at the girl and your heart starts thumping. Says she wanna dance to a different groove. Now you know what to do to bust the move. Just bust the move.
Hurry in. Right now, smartphones talk free. Add any smartphone to a family share plan and share minutes for free.
6 points for me. Excuse me. I'll have another light beer, please.
You sure you don't want a Miller Lite? Has more taste.
Does it matter?
Well, when you stop being a mama's boy and can figure that out, let me know.
Peanut!
Mom?
What she say to you?
Man up and choose a light beer with more taste. Grab a triple hops brewed Miller Lite with that great Pilsner taste.
Miller Lite, please.
Much better.
Let me get that for you, Peanut.
The inaugural Pinstripe Bowl trophy will be given to either Syracuse or Kansas State. And coming up next when we're done here at Yankee Stadium, the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Over on ESPN News, we'll have post-game extra coverage. The New Era Pinstripe Bowl here from the stadium. And we'll also have on ESPN3.com the trophy presentation. Huge play upcoming now, though. Third down and a long 6 for Syracuse, just inside the Kansas State 23-yard line after the K-State defensive timeout. 3:20 to go. It's a 5-point game, so if Kansas State can get a stop, at worst, it would still be a one-possession game, even if Syracuse gets a field goal. A toss and a throw by Bailey for Sales in the end zone. Jump ball, knocked away. Oh, great coverage by Troy Butler. Jumped in front of Sales and prevented Sales from catching touchdown pass number 4.
You think Doug Marrone doesn't want to win this game in impressive fashion? On 3rd and 7, he goes with the option pass, and Sales is an inch away from bringing this down. He goes up, fights for that football, and credit Butler for getting it out at the last second.
Now a field goal that is far from a gimme. Close to 40 yards for Krautman, who missed the extra point his last time out. Online, and it's good. 3:08 to go. Still a one-possession game, but Syracuse stretches the lead to 8.
Krautman is 17 for 18 coming into this ball game. And he took short steps in the approach and an accurate right down the middle kick. That was confidence in your kicker, but I go back to that 3rd down call. It's just an attitude that Doug Marrone has instituted, and Bill Schneider says maybe that's what I should have done on the last drive.
Ross Krautman's in the top 3 in America in field goal percentage this season. 94% coming into today. But a 40-yard field goal on that field, that was still a gamble for Doug Marrone, and it paid off.
And it's pretty obvious. He came into this game saying, we're going to let it all hang out. We have flea flicker. We've had reverses. We've run the ball. We've come out in the second half. I put it on my offensive line. On 3rd down, I'm going to let it all hang out in the option pass. And that's the kind of attitude that winners have. And that's what he's trying to instill at Syracuse.
Squib kick. Down to about the 18-yard line, picked up by Quarles. Quarles with a good return. All the way out close to the 43-yard line, down by 8. Kansas State has it after we check back into our studios with Dari Noka.
All right, guys, coming up in just a bit. Next, we're talking about 6:40 or so Eastern time. Tennessee, North Carolina, Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. How about the story that is number 8, Tyler Bray, true freshman, 4 starts, 4 wins to get the Vols Bowl eligible, guys.
Well, Dari, two teams that were so happy to be bowl eligible once again, Kansas State and Syracuse, playing a thriller here in the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Down by 8, only one timeout remaining for Kansas State. Kaufman swings one to Quarles. Quarles, terrific run into plus territory to the Syracuse 47-yard line, close to a first down.
Plenty of time on the clock, 2 minutes, 45 seconds, and a timeout for Kansas State, who's now with one play in Syracuse territory. So you don't have to rush here if you're Kaufman. Just operate your offense, make good decisions, give the ball to Daniel Thomas here and there.
Second down and 1, underneath throw, dropped. Cole Basham had a chance to make the first down catch, dropped it. That stops the clock with 2:26 remaining. Third down and 1.
And if you're Syracuse, you got to stop on the third down, the last drive, to force the field goal attempt, and then you stop the fake. This season, 7-5, the Syracuse team, this defense has been the difference. Can they be the difference one more time to win this game?
Before he gets the first down is Daniel Thomas. Chandler Jones knifes through to make the stop, and Thomas lost a yard. And now it's fourth down and a long 2, close to 3.
Chandler Jones has had a heck of a ball game. He's made play after play. Coming into the game, he had 8.5 tackles for loss and another one there.
2 minutes remaining, fourth down.
They're going to come after him.
Syracuse rushes 5 on the slant. It's a first down. Quarles makes the catch to the 40-yard line of Syracuse. Great throw by Kaufman.
They brought the blitz and they singled up Quarles on the backside. An accurate throw, and securing the football is Quarles, the senior leader of this offense.
Kansas State still with a timeout. Plenty of time with 1:35 to go. 5-man rush again for Syracuse. Kaufman with a flag down under pressure, and he will go down. Back at the 44-yard line. Again, Chandler Jones collapsed the pocket. The penalty, though, looks to be against Syracuse.
Holding. Defense. Number 99. 10-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Here's Chandler Jones right in the middle of your screen. Oh, they called him on a hold. They call the hold to try to get the linebacker Doug Hogue to come around. That's a tactic that defensive linemen will employ to try to get linebackers free on the blitz, and that time they caught him.
So instead of the sack, it's a penalty against Syracuse and a first down at the 30-yard line for Kansas State. Kaufman, back shoulder throw, making the catch. Breaking free is Quarles. Touchdown! Check that, Hilburn. Hilburn scores, and just like that, Kansas State has a chance to tie the game with 1:13 to go, and there's a flag down in the end zone.
Result of the play was a touchdown. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 82, excessive celebration, offense. That 15-yard penalty is being enforced on the extra point.
That's a huge call. Adrian Hilburn, an excessive celebration call. Wow. So that means now you have to try the two-point conversion from the 18-yard line.
They brought the blitz, a missed tackle, and Hilburn just outruns the defense. And right now, you're a senior. You're a senior, you got to know better. Any kind of individual attention you try to bring to yourself, and they're going to call you.
Boy, did that celebration warrant the flag? One salute to the crowd. So the 15-yard penalty on Adrian Hilburn for excessive celebration means that now to try and tie the game, Kansas State has to try the 2 from the 18-yard line. Kaufman has to put it in the end zone, and he will. Incomplete over the head of Quarles. So Syracuse, with 1:13 to go, is in a great position now, up by 2, and Kansas State's going to have to try an onside kick.
Wow. Unfortunate turn of events after a great play for Kansas State. You make the play, you diagnose the blitz, you're going to see it come off the strong. Here they're all going to come, and you throw the hitch route on the backside to Hilburn, and one missed tackle, and he's into the end zone. And I agree with you. Did that warrant the 15-yard penalty?
Well, the rule is anything that you do to bring attention to yourself is considered an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So that salute on the part of the officials, in their minds, is an act that brings attention to yourself by Adrian Hilburn, and as a result, it's a 15-yard penalty, and that basically turns the 2-point conversion attempt into from a probably 50-50 try from the 3-yard line to about a 10% try from the 18-yard line.
It's like a 3rd and 18. I mean, you're not going to convert that more than 2% of the time.
Well, here's the onside kick, and that's touched up short of the line to make. That ball did not travel 10 yards. It was recovered on a jump by Ty Zimmerman, but it had only gone about 8 yards when he touched it. So Syracuse will get the football, and they'll be able to simply take a knee. And that will be a bitter pill to swallow for the Kansas State Wildcats to lose this game, not having been given really a square chance at the 3-yard line to try a 2-point conversion after the excessive celebration penalty was called on Adrian Hilburn. It's illegal touching. And another penalty after about 6 signals against Kansas State. But the most important thing, you can clearly see the ball doesn't travel 10 yards.
Yep, it's kicked off to the 30. He's got to get to the 40, and Zimmerman gets it about the 38-yard line.
Multiple infractions on the play, both by the kicking team.
So Syracuse has the football, and their fans can celebrate. They're going to win the inaugural New Era Pinstripe Bowl here at Yankee Stadium. Now, who's to say whether or not Kansas State would have gotten the 2-point conversion at the 3-yard line? But they were never given the opportunity. I guess by the book, the call on Adrian Hilburn was the textbook definition of drawing attention to yourself with a touchdown celebration. Having said that, that's a very, very difficult way for this game to end for Kansas State. And our Capital One player of the game is DeLon Carter. And what a day he had. 198 yards rushing and a couple of touchdowns as well.
He certainly did. And you could talk about the play action pass and the Nassib throwing down the field accurate, Marcus Sales, all that was fantastic today. But without the running of DeLon Carter, those kinds of things don't open up on the back end. And he fought for 60 minutes today, and what a way for him as a senior to go out with a victory. And for Doug Marrone, certainly the attitude and the bath that he gets over there. That's a cold bath.
On a cold day at Yankee Stadium.
That's a cold one.
So Doug Marrone brings Syracuse back to a bowl game for the first time since 2004. Syracuse had not played postseason football. And right in his backyard, he grew up 10 blocks away from Yankee Stadium. Bill Snyder did a tremendous job getting Kansas State back to a bowl game this year as well. But for the Wildcats, what a tough way to see this game end as you score a touchdown with a little over a minute to go. And an excessive celebration penalty is called, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Adrian Hilburn for the salute after the touchdown. So Kansas State doesn't get an opportunity to try the two-point conversion. And Syracuse wins it.
Well, they give both teams credit. They came out and played a fantastic football game. A lot of offense, just enough defense at the end for Syracuse. But give Doug Marrone a lot of credit for changing the culture at Syracuse. And these kids love him, and he loves them.
So once again, our final. Syracuse wins the New Era Pinstripe Bowl over Kansas State, 36-34. We'll have live coverage of the trophy ceremony down in the field, and you can log on to ESPN3.com. 4-hour coverage. For Brian Greasy, Eamon McEnany, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Bob Wischusen saying so long from Yankee Stadium here in New York. Congratulations to Doug Marrone and the Syracuse Orange. They're the champions of the 2010 New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Now we head to more bowl action. It's North Carolina and Tennessee.